Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Everyone. Domain Master. Level 1 creates an absolute domain. Chapter 81. There were many people who sent Zhao Tianrong off just now, but he believed it. The person related to the loss of control of the undead is definitely Chu Jia. Not only just now, when the undead giant eagle fell on its own when it first came to the battlefield, it must have been influenced by Chu Jia. Although I have heard that some powerful job transfers can have an effect similar to bloodline suppression on low-level job transfers. I didn't expect that I would meet him today. But, I am an SSS level professional necromancer. And the level is still level 4. I don't know how many streets are ahead of that kid. Even like this, I will be affected. How incredible is this guy's career and talent? Originally, Zhao Tianrong just thought he had met a worthy junior and planned to make a few remarks. Only now did I realize that I had encountered a thigh. With Chu Jia's strength, I'm afraid it won't take long for him to become famous in the Dragon Kingdom and even in the world. If we don't make friends now, when will we wait? While shocked, Zhao Tianrong was ecstatic inside. Unexpectedly, a seemingly ordinary support mission. How could we encounter such a great opportunity? Zhao Tianrong looked up to the sky and laughed. Looking down at the battlefield where the fierce fighting was taking place, he spoke boldly. Ha ha, fellow comrades, I, Zhao Tianrong, am here to support you. The gold-level magic book emits a dark light, and dozens of third-level undead emerge from the void to fight against the abyss monsters. The third-level warrior on the back of the giant eagle also jumped down like a dumpling and joined the fierce battle. The job transferees below who were struggling to support showed ecstasy. Support has finally arrived. It's time to fight back. The joining of a large number of third-turn masters caused the situation on the battlefield to change instantly. The human side, which was originally in danger, suddenly began to take advantage. Terrifying attacks fell one after another, and large areas of shadow wolves and shadow demon bears were wiped out, without even a chance to repair themselves. Seeing that the war situation had returned to stability, Zhao Tianrong did not stay any longer. The situation on these corner battlefields actually has little impact on the overall war situation. The most important thing is to eliminate the leader of this alien invasion and control the core of the dungeon. Call. 4 giant eagles flapped their wings and flew towards the core area of the dungeon at high speed. In the copy, the outer circle is a dark plain, a barren land. There is nothing but gravel and dirt. But the deeper you go, the more vitality becomes. A large piece of primeval forest stands in the core area, and the dark green tree trunks require 7 or 8 people to hug it. The dense leaves form one after another, extremely lush. In the center of this primeval forest, a terrifying battle is going on. Hidao stood at the top of a big tree, looking solemnly ahead. In the center of the forest, a shadow spider king, which is dozens of meters tall, is entrenched on countless giant trees. Substantial shadow energy swirled around him. It makes its already ferocious appearance even more bizarre. Under him, a dark net covered the vast forest in the core area. Can be seen clearly. In the forest, a pitch-black ball slowly rotated, which was the core of the dungeon. Inspired by the core energy of the copy, a portal connecting to the abyss was formed around it. A steady stream of shadow wolves roared out of the portal. With the desire to kill, he rushed into the distance, toward the human world. This shadow spider king is the leader of this alien invasion. The strength has reached the 4th rank level, which is extremely terrifying. Big waterspout. The magic book in front of Hidao exudes an aqua-blue luster. Along with the surging power of the water element, a waterspout tens of meters high rose from the ground. Countless trees were uprooted and merged into the blue tornado. This terrifying 4th turn skill is even more powerful. Hidao pushed forward with a solemn expression. The waterspout swept forward with great power. Wherever the waterspout passed, a deep ravine was plowed into the ground. All gravel and trees were involved. Puff puff puff. The shadow spider king's abdomen twitched violently, and dark spider webs enveloped the waterspout. The moment the dark spider web touched the waterspout, it was also unable to resist the huge force of rotation and was sucked into it. However, waves of shadow power erupted from it, and the waterspout's spinning momentum was obviously curbed. Just then, a figure wearing bright silver armor suddenly rushed out of the forest. This person is the captain of the trained security team, Wei Shan. A rank 4 warrior. A sword light that seemed to be able to open up the world ripped apart the air and struck directly at the head of the Shadow Spider King. The 8 scarlet compound eyes of the shadow spider web blinked rapidly, and its huge body shuttled through the spider web extremely flexibly. Easily dodged the sword light attack. Tisk! The huge spider web collided with the sword light, and the terrifying energy impact crushed the surrounding trees into powder. But in the end, Zhang Guang is still better. The spider web was directly torn open with a huge crack that was about a meter long. There's a chance. Seeing the huge spider web tear open, Wei Shan's eyes lit up. The long sword in his hand was suddenly replaced by a golden long bow. This Wei Shan turned out to be a dual warrior who mastered both melee and long-range combat. Draw the bow and set the arrow, all in one go. A bright golden arrow shot through the air, roaring towards the core of the copy below. Originally, the correct process for facing alien invasion should be: destroy the alien leader, control the core of the dungeon, and close the space channel. But after the long and fierce battle just now, both Hidao and Wei Shan understood. With the strength of the two of them, there is absolutely no way they can take down the Shadow Spider King in front of them. Simply, the two of them fainted. It seemed like he was unleashing his most powerful move, but in reality he was attacking the core of the dungeon, intending to destroy it directly. Even if you can't get this copy of the Abyss, at least you can't let the Abyss send troops to the human world. If another level 4 alien is teleported here, then only a level 5 master can completely suppress this invasion. However, although the golden arrows are fast, the Shadow Spider King is even faster. Terrifying shadow energy is injected into the spider web. The spider web seemed to come alive, with countless shadow spider threads shooting out from the nodes. At the moment when the golden arrow is about to hit the core of the copy, it is tightly wrapped and cannot be saved at all. Anthropomorphic contempt flashed in the Shadow Spider King's eyes. Hidao and Wei Shan sighed deeply, feeling a pity. Just when they were about to continue their pursuit, 4 undead giant eagles roared and joined the battle. You two, I am Zhao Tianrong, the guard of Jinhua City, and I am here to wish you a helping hand. Wei Shan and Hidao were overjoyed that support had arrived. Shou Zhao, the 3 of us will work together to kill this Shadow Spider King quickly. Already, there are 3 level aliens who have been teleported here. If we continue to delay, I'm afraid a new 4 level aliens will be teleported. Wei Shan shouted anxiously. You two have been fighting fiercely for so long, please rest. Just leave this to me. Zhao Tianrong chuckled lightly and spoke confidently, as if he didn't take these 4 level aliens seriously at all. When Wei Shan and Hidao heard this, they immediately understood and retreated. This polite saying is the code word of the Dragon Kingdom, and it actually means, I'm going to use my ultimate move, so I don't want to hurt you. To put it more bluntly, this is, back off, I'm going to start showing off. Hiss. While Hidao and Wei Shan were retreating, a huge head like a hill suddenly popped out of the portal. The 8 scarlet compound eyes flash like bloody lanterns. It turned out to be another level 4 Shadow Spider King. Brother Zhao, take action quickly, we will help you form a formation. We must never let the second Shadow Spider King pass through the portal again. When Wei Shan and Hidao saw the second Shadow Spider King, their expressions changed. Zhao Tianrong also looked solemn, knowing that there is not much time left for him. In 2 minutes at most, another Shadow Spider King will arrive. With a silent nod, the 3 undead giant eagles rushed towards the Shadow Spider King in a glyph formation. Hiss. Seeing that his support was about to arrive, the Shadow Spider King let out an excited and brutal roar. 3 jet black spider webs shot out from the abdomen, shrouding the undead giant eagle in the sky. At the same time, the 8 scarlet compound eyes flashed with bloody light. 8 laser beams burst out to block the path of the undead giant eagle. Don't give the undead giant eagle a chance to get close. Roar. The undead giant eagle turned a blind eye to the attack in front of him and rushed directly into it like a cannonball. Shadow energy and bloody lasers continued to explode on the pale bones. Dozens of bones were directly broken. The blue will-o'-the-wisps in the eye sockets of the undead giant eagle keep flickering and swaying. When the Shadow Spider King saw this, excitement flashed in his eyes. How dare you directly collide with your own attack? You really don't know how to live or die. Watch if I strike again and completely annihilate these 3 skeletons. Just when the Shadow Spider King was about to continue attacking, the 8 compound eyes suddenly caught a black spot approaching him at an extremely fast speed. If you look closely, it turns out to be a miniature undead bird. In its mouth, it also holds something that looks like a scroll. The Shadow Spider King suddenly felt an extremely terrifying danger. However, it was too late to stop it. 3 undead giant eagles risked their lives to break through the blockade, in order to unexpectedly deliver the undead bone bird to the Shadow Spider King. Level 5 Advanced Skill Scroll. Torrent of Flames. Explode. Along with Zhao Tianrong shouted. The scroll in the mouth of the undead bone bird suddenly exploded and turned into a rolling river burning with scorching sun flames, directly sweeping the Shadow Spider King into it. Hiss. The Shadow Spider King roared in anger and terror. An endless stream of shadow ripples spread from its huge body. However, the distance between the 4th and 5th revolutions cannot be made up by quantity alone. The scorching flames envelop the entire body of the Shadow Spider King. The terrifying flames are constantly destroying all life in the Shadow Spider King. The 8 slender spider legs of the Shadow Spider King swing wildly, trying to extinguish the flames on its body. However, to no avail. Its shell gradually loses its luster and emits a burnt smell. The struggling movements gradually slowed down until they were completely unable to move. Shadow Spider King, die. Zhao Tianrong was overjoyed when he saw that the 5th turn skill scroll killed the Shadow Spider King with 1 strike. It was also the Shadow Spider King who was too arrogant and handed over 2 major skills to the undead eagle in advance. Otherwise, if you want to kill it, 3 people will need to work together to perform a last-ditch attack. However, now that the Shadow Spider King has been killed, the top priority is to collect the dungeon core. Zhao Tianrong immediately ordered the undead giant eagle under him to quickly rush to the core of the copy. Wei Shan and He Dao also rose up in stature, and their speed was also not slow. Their target was the Shadow Spider King, which had teleported half of its body. It is naturally impossible to kill it. But since you dare to touch the human world, I must leave a deep impression on you. Whoa, boom. A snow-white crescent moon sword light and a huge water column as thick as a bolt hit the Shadow Spider King's head at the same time. Explode its 8 compound eyes until plasma is sprayed out. The half of the body that had already been stretched out was blasted into the portal again. At the same time, Zhao Tianrong also quickly took control of the core of the copy. The portal to the abyss is closed. BL #SPH*M#R. The moment the portal closed, an angry roar came from it. The sound was obscure, but full of rhythm, and seemed to be a language. It's this sentence again, no matter how hard you shout, we still can't understand it. Looking at the disappearing portal, Zhao Tianrong shrugged helplessly. After more than 10 years of fighting with foreign races, he has heard the same words several times. Even if the invading alien races are different, when they fail, they will leave such confusing words. Haha, if you don't understand, you can guess. I guess it's the kind of incompetent and angry words like, I'll throw away your mother. Brother He, you are a cultural person, do you think my guess is correct? After solving the alien leader, Wei Shan felt a lot more relaxed. There are only those 3-level and 2-level monsters left below. Without the support of the abyss, these rootless duckweed cannot make big waves. What Captain Wei said makes sense, but it may also be the purpose of the alien invasion. I guess the senior officials of Dragon Kingdom should have deciphered the meaning of this sentence. It's just that we, the 4th-level job transferees, are not qualified to know yet. He Dao said thoughtfully. That makes sense. Sure enough, cultural people think more. Hey, since you don't want us to know, then I won't care. If we look into it carefully, we might get into some trouble out of nowhere. Wei Shan touched his forehead and smiled, feeling as if he was wise and foolish. He faced Zhao Tianrong and said gratefully, "Thank you, Chief Zhao, for coming to support me. I wonder what the war situation is like at the rear." Zhao Tianrong smiled slightly. "Captain Wei, you're welcome. This is my duty. I came here this time and brought with me 42 third-level masters, which should be more than enough to handle the war in the dungeon. As for the outside, Captain Wei doesn't have to worry. There was a genius job changer on the train. He had just changed jobs for 15 days and killed a large number of shadow wolves. He even killed a level 110 shadow demon bear. With this genius guarding the gate, there is no need to worry about the abyssal aliens wreaking havoc in the human world. He Dao couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he heard this. A new job changer is actually able to kill the shadow demon bear. Could it be Chu Jia? However, in the college entrance examination copy, Chu Jia faced the level 100 three-headed hell dog and had to use all his strength to win. How is it possible to kill the elite level shadow demon bear? When Wei Shan heard this, his eyes widened suddenly and he said in disbelief. Can you kill the level 110 shadow demon bear just after changing your job? Junshou Zhao, are you kidding? Zhao Tianrong couldn't help but burst out laughing when he saw Wei Shan losing his composure. Captain Wei, why are you making such a fuss? Look at Mr. He, this is called Ding Li. As for what I said, of course everything is true and there is no trace of fraud. Speaking of which, this young man has the same fate as me. He is also a necromancer. Zhao Tianrong was quite proud and began to slowly tell Chu Jia's wonderful deeds outside the portal. Although he also listened to what the steward said, it felt quite ups and downs when he said it. It was as if he had experienced it himself. Wei Shan was dumbfounded and startled as he listened. Even He Dao opened his mouth in shock. Unexpectedly, two crouching dragon and phoenix chicks appeared in the Dragon Kingdom at the same time this year. Moreover, according to what Zhao Tianrong said, his strength is far superior to that of Chu Jia. What's more important is that this evil genius actually took the same train as him. This son is worthy of joining my Kunlun sect. Junshou Zhao, what is this student's name? What do you look like? Where do you live? Have you applied for school? He Dao impatiently interrupted Zhao Tianrong's chatter. Get straight to the point and ask the questions you care about most directly. Zhao Tianrong felt even more proud when he saw He Dao from Kunlun Academy looking like he loved his talents as much as his life. It seems that this boy is even more generous than the geniuses of Kunlun Academy. Haha, this little genius looks very talented. As for the name, if I remember correctly, it should be called Chu Jia. Tisk tisk, Chu Jia, Chu Shui and Wu Shan, outstanding people in places. What a nice name, isn't it, Mr. He? He Dao said proudly, as if he had recognized the pride of a 1,000-mile horse. He Dao was dumbfounded when he heard this. Ah, Chu Jia, isn't this my student? He Dao really couldn't laugh or cry. The genius that Zhao Tianrong praised so much was Chu Jia. But he was also secretly surprised. It seems that Chu Jia has made Ghost Valley his own domain. The second field obviously allowed him to master abilities similar to those of the necromancer. The strength increased sharply again, directly reaching the terrifying level of killing the level 110 abyss aliens. No one in history has ever successfully created a field. As for Chu Jia, he created 2 of them in just half a month after changing jobs. Apart from pervert, He Dao really doesn't know what to use to describe Chu Jia. Ah, Chu Jia is a student of Kunlun Academy. Hearing He Dao's words, it was Zhao Tianrong's turn to be dumbfounded. Haha, that's still fake. I live in the same carriage as Chu Jia. I personally recruited this guy. He Dao laughed, raised his chin high, and was so proud that he felt like things were changing. No, since he is your student, why were you so surprised just now? Zhao Tianrong was a depressed group. Using Chu Jia to show off, it turned out that Chu Jia was a student at Kunlun Academy. This slap in the face at the speed of light made Zhao Tianrong feel his face burning. Why? He Dao took a long breath and said leisurely. Before, I just asked Chu Jia to stay in the carriage. So, when Zhao Junshou said just now, I didn't think about Chu Jia at all. I didn't expect that he still couldn't stop his heart of serving the country. Kunlun Academy is so lucky to have recruited such a good man. Chu Jia had just changed his job, so He Dao would naturally not publicize his deeds. This is not only for Chu Jia's success as he grows up, but also for his personal safety. After all, in addition to the dangers of alien races, there are also some unscrupulous pagans in this world. When a genius appears in the human race, they will feel more uncomfortable than the death of their own father, and they will try every means to assassinate him. Zhao Tianrong and Wei Shan looked at He Dao and sighed on the surface, but in reality the expression on his lips was harder to suppress than AK. I couldn't help but rolled my eyes. It's okay to deceive a 3-year-old child with this, but how is it possible to convince them? It was obvious that He Dao had no idea that Chu Jia had the power of the undead. In other words, in addition to the power of the undead, this Chu Jia also hides a bigger secret. A terrifying strength comparable to the power of the undead. Hiss. Thinking of this, both of them took a deep breath. With this undead power alone, Chu Jia is probably one of the most talented people in his generation. Coupled with an equally powerful unknown strength. As long as Chu Jia doesn't die prematurely, I'm afraid the world will be his for the next 100 years. Both of you, we've had enough rest. Let's clear out all the aliens in the dungeon. That's right, even though little friend Chu is very powerful, if a level 3 alien rushes out, he will be in danger, right? It is everyone's responsibility to protect geniuses. Wei Shan and Zhao Tianrong sang in harmony, and their true thoughts were: go out quickly and take this good opportunity to make friends with Chu Jia. He Dao saw through it without saying anything, and nodded happily. Chu Jia's connections are naturally also Kunlun Academy's connections. Before officially enrolling, Kunlun Academy has broadened the relationship between two RANK 4 masters. I have to say, Chu Jia is really a treasure trove. Next, the three of them quickly flew through the dungeon with the help of the undead giant eagle. With 3 rank 4 masters working together, the rank 3 abyss alien race is no match for them. Soon, the third turn alien race was completely wiped out. The remaining second level foreign races can only be supported by the job transferees. Being eliminated is only a matter of time. Naturally, there is no need for 3 rank 4 bosses to do these little things themselves. The 3 of them rushed out of the copy impatiently. When the job transferees saw Zhao Tianrong coming out of the copy, they all looked excited. Lord Guard, has the alien invasion been put down? Before they could finish asking, the undead giant eagle flew directly over their heads and flew in the direction of Chu Jia. 6 black spots slowly floated above everyone's heads. He smiled bitterly and shook his head, feeling envious. You are indeed a genius. As soon as the guard came out, he went to find Chu Jia. You can kill the shadow demon bear even if you change jobs in half a month, and you can also enjoy this treatment. Don't be sour. After all, he is also a genius of our Dragon Kingdom. Yes, as long as Chu Jia grows up, our Dragon Kingdom will be worry-free for 100 years. However, the fact is, the moment the undead giant eagle rushed out of the copy, without waiting for Zhao Tianrong to give an order, the undead giant eagle automatically flew towards Chu Jia. The corner of Zhao Tianrong's mouth twitched, and he felt inexplicably uncomfortable. I have the urge to dismantle the undead giant eagle and then reassemble it. Chu Jia was sitting on the ground with Lu Xin at the moment, chatting and watching Lu Yan fight the undead shadow wolf. Well, to be precise, it was watching Lu Yan being beaten by the undead shadow wolf. This little girl is really brave and wants to try the strength of the undead shadow wolf after becoming crazy. So Chu Jia satisfied her. The result was naturally as expected. Lu Yan was not an enemy of Yi at all. The golden sword made a clang sound under the sharp claws of the undead shadow wolf, and kept retreating. This was the result of Chu Jia asking the undead shadow wolf to hold back its strength. Otherwise, Lu Yan would be torn to pieces in just one blow. However, this little girl Lu Yan is also really tough. This way you won't admit defeat or shout to stop. You must taste the feeling of being beaten. In her words, I want to remember the humiliation now. Only in this way can I surpass you in the future. Chu Jia looked at the battle ahead and said speechlessly, Lu Xin, there is something I don't know whether to say or not. Lu Xin smiled softly, huh. Chu Jia, you just have to say it, I have a very good temper. Chu Jia pointed to his head and said, you sister, you may be a bit naughty. She was beaten to the point of vomiting blood, and you still hold on for the sake of face. Lu Xin couldn't hold it back and burst out laughing. Ha ha, to tell you the truth, our family also says so. Part of her IQ may have turned into strength. But I'm a priest and can treat her. Don't worry. Chu Jia and Lu Xin were chatting when 3 shadows suddenly landed next to them. Little friend Chu Jia, are you busy? Zhao Tianrong stepped down from the undead giant eagle and spoke with a smile. Master Guard, no, I was just teasing the monkey. I mean, I was training with classmate Lu Yan. When Chu Jia and Lu Xin saw Zhao Tianrong coming, they quickly stood up from the ground and said hello to Zhao Tianrong. When Lu Yan saw the big shot coming, she also ran over obediently. However, he secretly whispered in Chu Jia's ear, "Chu Jia, I heard everything you just said to my sister. HMPH, you'd better be careful. When I defeat the Shadow Wolf, it will be your turn." Chu Jia seemed not to have heard anything and looked at the strong man in silver armor behind Zhao Tianrong. The aura exuded from his body is not inferior to that of Zhao Tianrong, and he is obviously a rank 4 powerhouse. "Hello, little friend Chu Jia, my name is Wei Shan, and I am the security captain of this train. On behalf of the train crew, I would like to thank you for your contribution in the battle just now." Wei Shan looked at Chu Jia with admiration and introduced himself boldly. "Senior Wei, thank you very much. It is the mission of us Dragon Kingdom people to resist the invasion of aliens. Since I have this strength, I naturally can't turn a blind eye. Besides, I am not the only one who contributed to this battle, other job transferees also put in considerable efforts." Chu Jia spoke modestly. "Haha, not arrogant or impatient, very good. Very good. Don't worry, it doesn't matter if it's you or other job transferees. As long as you participate in the battle and make military exploits, our Dragon Kingdom will not treat you badly." Wei Shan laughed heartily and was quite satisfied with Chu Jia's humble character. If the sky is crazy, it will rain, and if people are crazy, disaster will happen. Geniuses should actually be low-key and humble in order to grow safely. It's just that most geniuses understand this truth too late. Chu Jia, you did a good job this time. When I return to Kunlun Academy, I will report it to the school's senior management and give you a reward." He Dao also walked over with satisfaction and said with a smile on his face, "If that guy Su Yu knew that she, Qingqiu Academy, had missed such a monster, she would probably regret it to death." Seeing the 3 rank 4 masters returning safely, Chu Jia knew that the alien invasion should have been settled. The space passages that the alien races have worked so hard to build will eventually become nourishment for the human race and help humanity grow further. "Thank you, Teacher He." In addition, these two are Lu Yan and Lu Xin. They are also freshmen at Kunlun Academy. In the battle just now, the two of them also made a lot of contributions. I think if there are awards, they should have a share. Chu Jia introduced Lu Yan and Lu Xin to He Dao. The two of them did not have such perverted abilities as themselves, but they dared to go to the front line. Chu Jia believes that this spirit of not fearing death should not be ignored. Lu Xin and Lu Yan didn't expect that Chu Jia would speak for them, and they couldn't help feeling warm in their hearts. In their view, although they rushed to the front line, but in fact, the contribution made is not much and does not deserve any awards. However, before they could refuse, He Dao agreed with a smile on his face. Okay, I didn't expect you two girls to have such courage. Very good, very good. Women will not be inferior to men. I will report it together." 3 students from his own school bravely joined the battle against the aliens, which made He Dao's face particularly bright. "By the way, I am He Dao, the director of the admissions office of Kunlun University. Lu Xin, Lu Yan, you two, please stay with us for the rest of your journey." Lu Xin and Lu Yan were surprised when they heard that the rank 4 expert in front of them was actually the admissions director of Kunlun University. The admissions director personally went to recruit Chu Jia, and Chu Jia's face was really big. But thinking of Chu Jia's strength, the 2 women felt relieved. The 2 women thanked her slightly cautiously. "Thank you, Teacher He." After some pleasantries, Zhao Tianrong took the initiative and chatted with Chu Jia about the necromancer's related abilities. Trying to get closer to Chu Jia in this way. Chu Jia is not a necromancer, so he naturally doesn't understand those professional things. However, the bone of the eternal dead gave him some new understanding of death. Chu Jia then said what he could think of. Zhao Tianrong couldn't help but be stunned after hearing this. He never expected that Chu Jia could understand such a grand proposition of death so thoroughly after only changing his job for half a month. Some insights are even better than my own understanding. Originally, he planned to teach Chu Jia some knowledge about death. Now it seems that Chu Jia and him can communicate on equal terms. Is this the understanding of genius? It's so terrifying. Lu Yan and Lu Xin listened with interest. The insights of a rank 4 boss, even if they are not from this profession, are of great value. Maybe one day a bright idea will strike you and you can draw parallels. What surprised them was that Chu Jia was able to have a conversation with Zhao Tianrong. Sometimes, Zhao Tianrong even needs to think before he can answer. This made the two girls secretly surprised. They still seemed to have underestimated Chu Jia's strength. Seeing that Zhao Tianrong was already chatting with Chu Jia, and the chat was very lively, Wei Shan scratched his head and was anxious. He, a warrior with a sword and a bow, couldn't get a word in. It won't take long until the dungeon is cleared and the train sets off again. If I can't exchange a few words with Chu Jia, wouldn't it be a big loss? After holding it in for a long time, Wei Shan finally said something that seemed reasonable. Little friend Chu Jia, the necromancer's own safety is very important. How about I teach you some sword skills? When Zhao Tianrong heard this, he rolled his eyes fiercely. Wei Shan, if you don't have a job, you can bite the lighter. Don't be so tough on the job. How can a necromancer use a sword? It's enough to summon a few undead to protect yourself. Only a fool. However, before he finished speaking, Chu Jia nodded and agreed. Okay, it just so happens that I know a little bit about swordsmanship, and I asked Senior Wei to teach me. Being able to discuss swordsmanship with Wei Shan, a rank 4 boss, will definitely be of great benefit to him in controlling Luanjian Mountain. Chu Jia will naturally not miss it. Zhao Tianrong twitched the corner of his mouth, coughed twice, and changed his style. Idiots don't learn. Yes, that's right. Although our necromancers are weak in strength, we have many skills. The mage knows swordsmanship, no one can stop him. Zhao Tianrong said sternly, nodding his head. But the old face was slightly red. Wei Shan did not make fun of Zhao Tianrong's abrupt change of topic. He didn't expect that Chu Jia, a necromancer, would really be interested in swordsmanship. After arranging his thoughts, he began to explain some simple swordsmanship knowledge in a simple and in-depth manner. Try your best to make Chu Jia understand. He even put himself in the shoes of a necromancer and thought about the feasibility of using a sword to defend himself. Lu Yan on the side listened with bright eyes. When listening to the knowledge about the dead, she felt like listening to math problems. I know it's important, but I just don't understand it. But when it comes to swordsmanship, she is no longer sleepy. Haha, it's Chu Jia's turn to be confused. I want to watch his expression carefully, and then when he shows off, I will laugh at him about it. Lu Yan smiled evilly and thought secretly. However, soon, she stopped laughing. Chu Jia was not joking. He really knows swordsmanship. Chu Jia could easily summarize what Wei Shan said in more straightforward terms. As a thunder swordsman, Lu Yan could clearly see that Chu Jia was not just pretending. He really understands. And he's the kind of expert who understands. No, you necromancer, why do you know swordsmanship? You are not doing your job properly. Not only was Lu Yan shocked, the expression on Wei Shan's face was also wonderful. At first, he was worried that Chu Jia wouldn't understand, making the conversation boring. He never expected that Chu Jia would actually be involved in swordsmanship. Wei Shan began to gradually deepen his knowledge of swordsmanship, but Chu Jia was still able to answer questions fluently. Wei Shan was really shocked at this moment. If he hadn't known that Chu Jia was a necromancer, he would have been suspicious. The person standing in front of him is a master of a certain swordsman profession. Although Zhao Tianrong does not understand the profound knowledge of swordsmanship. But when he saw Wei Shan's expression, it was exactly the same as his just now. He also knew that Chu Jia's talent in swordsmanship might not be inferior to that of the undead. Is it possible that this is the secret hidden in Chu Jia? Only He Dao looked at all this with a smile, laughing secretly in his heart. Discuss undead and swordsmanship with Chu Jia. Zhao Tianrong, Wei Shan, you have hit the muzzle of a gun. Chu Jia communicated with Zhao Tianrong and Wei Shan for half an hour. 9 out of 10 alien races in the dungeon have finally been eliminated. The remaining alien races will be used as hidden monsters for those who upgrade in the future. After saying goodbye to Zhao Tianrong, the train finally started again and headed towards Kyoto. Outside Kyoto Station, a short-haired beauty was looking anxiously into the station. She glanced at her phone from time to time and murmured to herself. Why haven't you arrived yet? The beauty wore a fitted denim jacket with a slim-fitting black shirt underneath. Wearing high-waisted tight jeans on the lower body, the straight and slender legs are perfectly displayed. Her facial features are exquisite, but there is a hint of coldness between her eyebrows. Many passers-by around her were secretly looking at this woman, impressed by her beautiful appearance and sassy temperament. But when he saw the Kunlun Academy badge on her chest, he quickly withdrew his unscrupulous gaze. There are 3 famous schools in Kyoto: Shunjo Academy, Kunlun Academy and Shinwoo Academy. The students among them are all the geniuses of the Dragon Kingdom. That is not something ordinary people can covet casually. This beauty is Chu Jia's sister, Chu Shuangyu. In order to become stronger and obtain more resources, she and Chu Jia have not seen each other for a year. Today, she came to wait outside the station early. However, Chu Jia did not arrive for a long time. After questioning, I found out that the train Chu Jia was on happened to encounter an alien invasion. Although she knew that the trains were equipped with security personnel, she was still particularly worried about her brother's safety. It wasn't until Chu Jia sent her a safe text message that she felt completely relieved. Hey, Xiaoji, here. At this moment, a sunny and handsome young man walked out of the station, and Chu Shuangyu saw him at a glance. The cold face seemed to melt, revealing a bright smile. He waved vigorously towards Chu Jia. Oh, my dear old sister. Chu Jia also had a happy smile on his face, opened his arms and ran towards Chu Shuangyu. Bang! The two hugged each other tightly. Chu Jia even picked up Chu Shuangyu and spun him around in the air several times. The siblings usually communicate via mobile phone. We are all very excited to see each other now. Is that Chu Jia's sister? I didn't expect she was so beautiful. Seeing Chu Shuangyu embracing Chu Jia, even a girl like Lu Yan couldn't help but light up. Just looking at Chu Jia's appearance, you should be able to guess that his sister is not bad either. Lu Xin looked at the scene of the sister and brother's reunion with a gentle face, and felt warm in her heart for no reason. He Dao followed the 2 women and said with a smile. Let's not disturb their sister-sister reunion. Let's go, I'll take you to Kunlun University and register your student status. In the next few days, you will be able to enter and exit the school freely. Chu Jia and Chu Shuangyu hugged each other for a long time before reluctantly separating. Tisk tisk, I've grown taller and stronger. Chu Shuangyu patted Chu Jia's strong arm and sighed with emotion. Are you hungry? Come on, sister will take you to eat something delicious. Originally, the train's arrival time was supposed to be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After being affected by the alien invasion, Chu Jia arrived in Kyoto at 6 o'clock. It was getting a little dark now. It's time for dinner too. After not seeing each other for a year, Chu Jia had a lot to say to his sister Chu Shuangyu. But thinking about the fact that the 2 of them will study at Kunlun University together in the future, they will have a lot of time, so they are not in a hurry. So, he followed Chu Shuangyu into a taxi and drove towards the hotel. Xiaoji, are you afraid of the alien invasion you encountered on the road? Please, sister, how old am I? Let me tell you, not only am I not afraid, I even guarded the portal by myself. PFF'd, ha 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 ha, good, my Xiaoji is the bravest and most powerful. Hey, sister, please stop treating me like a 3, 4, 5, or 6-year-old child, okay? Hee, no, you have lived alone for a year, you are obviously an adult already. Then why do you keep rubbing my head? Well, I haven't rubbed my dog's head in a year. You don't know how uncomfortable it is for me to hold it in. Look at me angrily rubbing my brother's dog's head, haha. The siblings were chatting and laughing in the car, and soon arrived at a luxurious hotel. To support her younger brother, Chu Shuangyu naturally didn't care about money and found a high-end hotel. Wow, sister, you are now a rich little woman. Then I will stick to your lap. Looking at the splendid hotel building, Chu Jia couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Okay, you can eat as much as you want. If you can make me poor, you are considered powerful. The happy smile on Chu Shuangyu's face never disappeared, and she pulled Chu Jia into the hotel. She had made a reservation in advance, seated her, served the food, and everything was done very quickly. Chu Jia was already a little hungry. When he saw the delicious dishes on the table, he ate them without any regard for the image. Anyway, the person in front of me is not an outsider. Chu Shuangyu has seen both his good and bad looks. Slow down, slow down. Don't just eat meat, drink some soup and don't choke. Chu Shuangyu watched Chu Jia wolfing down the food with a smile. But a sour feeling of guilt emerged in my heart. When his parents passed away, he, as his elder sister, should have taken good care of his younger brother. But she couldn't be with her brother during his most critical senior year in high school. Especially since he changed his job to become a useless profession like a field master. All he could do at that time was to say a few words of comfort through his mobile phone. However, now that my younger brother has arrived in Kyoto, Chu Shuangyu will definitely not let him suffer any more injustice. With her current strength, it would not be a problem to find a stable job for Chu Jia. It is indeed a pity to switch to a field master, but living a peaceful and ordinary life may not be a blessing at all. After a while, when Chu Jia was 4/4 full, Chu Shuangyu slowly asked, Xiaoji, what are your plans next? Chu Jia took out a tissue, wiped his greasy mouth, and said with a smile, Sister, I will study with you at Kunlun Academy from now on. Chu Shuangyu glared at Chu Jia angrily and said angrily, I'm telling you something serious. When Chu Jia heard this, he shrugged helplessly. He knew that the elder sister would definitely not believe it. Taking out the Kunlun University's admission notice and student card from the backpack space, Chu Jia said with some pride, Sister, what I said is serious. I have been admitted to Kunlun University. Chu Shuangyu looked at the admission notice and student card handed over by Chu Jia, and her pupils suddenly shrank. Brother, you. Seeing Chu Shuangyu's stunned look, Chu Jia smiled from ear to ear. Haha, you didn't expect that, did you? Chu Shuangyu nodded in shock and said in disbelief. Yes, I really didn't expect that you learned how to apply for fake certificates. The smile on Chu Jia's face suddenly froze, and he looked confused. Sister, this is the real deal. Chu Jia thought about countless Chu Shuangyu's reactions. But she never expected that Chu Shuangyu would deny herself in this way. Chu Shuangyu rubbed the admission notice, looked at the seal on the admission notice for a long time, shook her head and said, The workmanship of your fake certificate is indeed very exquisite, almost to the point where it looks fake. If I hadn't been a student at Kunlun Academy, I wouldn't have discovered the problem at all. Put it away quickly. Don't take it out again. If this is discovered, you will be arrested. The confused expression on Chu Jia's face became even more intense. This was given to him personally by He Dao. How could there be a problem? No, sister. What problem do you see? Chu Shuangyu rolled her eyes and said angrily. You haven't registered as a student, how can you have a student card? Is it possible that you want to say that you were admitted in Dongsheng City? And before anyone arrives, have you registered your student status first? Hearing Chu Shuangyu's teasing, Chu Jia nodded slowly. Sister, your guess is really accurate. The normal process is indeed to enroll in school first, then register your student status, and finally get your student card. But He Dao was afraid that Chu Jia would be snatched away by other schools along the way, so he registered his student status remotely as soon as possible. Unexpectedly, this became a flaw in Chu Shuangyu's eyes. Chu Jia was really dumbfounded. But he currently has nothing else on him to prove his identity. So I no longer dwell on this topic. What is true cannot be false, and what is false cannot be true. Then let this surprise brew for a while. Next, Chu Jia and Chu Shuangyu chatted while eating. Chu Shuangyu introduced many scenic spots in Kyoto to Chu Jia, and planned to go shopping with Chu Jia in the past few days. The two of them ate for more than an hour. By the time we finished eating, it was already past 7 in the evening. Night has fallen. Xiaoji, it's late today. Let me find you a place to stay first. Chu Shuangyu took Chu Jia for a walk on the streets of Kyoto. When the lanterns first came on, the light flickered, and it was countless times more prosperous than Dongsheng City. Sister, let's go to Kunlun Academy. Chu Jia said. He Dao told himself in the car that he would always be waiting for him at school. Although the student status has been registered, Chu Jia needs to handle the dormitory allocation and awards. After completing the process, Chu Jia can live in the dormitory of Kunlun University, and there is no need to stay in a hotel outside. Can. It just so happens that Kunlun University also has a hotel for foreign guests, so we can meet up tomorrow. Chu Shuangyu blinked her beautiful eyes and nodded readily in agreement. From the conversation just now, Chu Shuangyu could clearly feel that Chu Jia had a great obsession with Kunlun Academy. Although I can't let my brother come here to study, taking him for a tour can be regarded as fulfilling his wish. As a result, the two of them took a car and arrived at the gate of Kunlun Academy. The main entrance of Kunlun University is magnificent, with the word, Kunlun, written on it with flying dragons and phoenixes, like two vigorous dragons. At this moment, night has just fallen, and there are many students coming and going at the school gate, full of youthful atmosphere. They are young, but they exude at least the aura of the second rank. A genius who is regarded as a monster in the outside world can knock down a large area with one brick. Chu Shuangyu took Chu Jia's hand, introduced him, and walked towards the door. There is an access control in front of the gate, which requires a student card to enter. Drop. Chu Shuangyu pasted her student card on it and passed the access control. Xiaoji, wait a moment, I'll talk to the security guard and register you. As soon as Chu Shuangyu finished her instructions, she saw Chu Jia taking out the fake certificate again and pasting it on the access control. Don't. Chu Shuangyu's face changed drastically. This gate seems ordinary, but it is actually connected to a barrier formation inside. Once someone impersonates or breaks in by force, the access control will immediately erupt with terrifying power and imprison the person in the future. I clearly told Chu Jia not to bring out false evidence anymore, why didn't he listen? Chu Shuangyu reached out to grab the student card, but it was too late. Just listen to a beep sound. The gate is open. Chu Jia walked into Kunlun Academy safe and sound. Question mark question mark question mark. Chu Shuangyu was dumbfounded. The pretty face was full of confusion, and the whole person was stunned. Why can fake ID pass the access control? Is the school's access control barrier broken? Wrong. In the 1 year since I entered school, I have seen more than a dozen masters blocked by barriers. There are even some strong ones at rank 4 among them. It is absolutely impossible for fake IDs to pass through the access control barrier. Is it possible? Brother, what he said before is true. He was really admitted to Kunlun University. Chu Shuangyu's beautiful eyes gradually widened, and she stared at Chu Jia blankly. Chu Jia looked at her with a smile. Xiaoji, you go over and take 2 more steps. Go around the gate twice more. Chu Shuangyu was still in disbelief and urged Chu Jia to try to open the door again. No, sister, there are so many people. Chu Jia's face was full of resistance and he walked around the entrance guard as if he was seriously ill. Go if you are told. Chu Shuangyu kicked Chu Jia's butt angrily. Sister's bloodline suppression activates. Have no choice. Chu Jia had no choice but to run to the exit, tick, again, and then line up again to enter the school. Seeing this scene, Chu Shuangyu completely believed it. Chu Jia's student card is real. This means that Chu Jia has really been admitted to Kunlun University. Oh my god, Xiaoji, how on earth did you do it? You little guy, you're a bad learner. This big thing is still hidden, and you don't tell me immediately. Chu Shuangyu was surprised and happy, almost jumping with excitement. Some students around who knew Chu Shuangyu looked at her in shock. Is that Chu Shuangyu, the ice and snow goddess of Kunlun Academy? Oh my god, the goddess actually has such a cheerful side. Oh my god, it's so beautiful, I feel like my heart is going to jump out. Chu Jia looked at the crowd gradually gathering around him, pulled Chu Shuangyu towards the depths of the school, and said helplessly. Sister, I told you. Mainly because you didn't believe it for once. Chu Shuangyu snorted lightly and said angrily. How do you expect me to believe that? Field masters have trouble even taking the college entrance examination, let alone being admitted to Kunlun University. Tell the truth, kid, what is your occupation? Chu Shuangyu stared at Chu Jia with burning eyes. She suspected that Chu Jia had lied to her from the beginning. Just to give her a surprise. Chu Jia's profession is not a field master at all. Sister, please don't accuse me wrongly. My profession is field master. It's just that, like you, I have also awakened a special talent. As Chu Jia walked towards the admissions office, he told Chu Shuangyu about the college entrance examination. Chu Shuangyu held Chu Jia's arm and listened carefully. From time to time, like a kitten, it barks in surprise. What? You actually mastered the field. You said you cleared the 100th level of the college entrance examination copy. Oh my god. Director He Dao personally recruited you. In just 10 minutes of conversation, Chu Shuangyu felt that it was more exciting than her experience this year. If Chu Jia hadn't really walked into the gate of Kunlun Academy, Chu Shuangyu will definitely think that Chu Jia is just having a whim. Xiaoji, are you really that powerful? No more, no more. Wait until tomorrow, I will go to the dungeon with you. I had to see it with my own eyes. Chu Shuangyu said with great excitement. As the genius of Kunlun University, everyone has the drive to be the first. Now I know that my brother is so awesome. Chu Shuangyu couldn't wait to see it. Ah, isn't it, sister? I just finished my college entrance examination when I encountered an alien invasion. I finally made it to Kyoto, and you still want me to download the dungeon. Chu Jia pretended to be helpless and aggrieved. It felt like I was about to cry in the next second. Okay. Chu Shuangyu was a little embarrassed by Chu Jia's trick. I also realized that I was a little anxious. Then I'll take you to have fun for a few days. When you have fun, show me your ability. Quote, that's all right, my dear brother. Chu Shuangyu's voice was loud and she had a coquettish expression. Seeing this, Chu Jia nodded with satisfaction. That's right. Ha. Under the leadership of Chu Shuangyu, the two came to the admissions office of the Government Affairs Building. Chu Shuangyu was worried at first that it was too late and there was no one around. Unexpectedly, He Dao, the director of the admissions office, was waiting for Chu Jia in the office. Chu Jia, you are finally here. You two had so much fun that you forgot about me, an old guy. Seeing Chu Shuangyu and Chu Jia come in, He Dao started teasing them with a smile. Chu Jia touched his head, feeling a little embarrassed. He took out a packaged pork elbow from his backpack and handed it over. Teacher He, haven't you eaten yet? This is the sauce elbow I brought specially for you. It's delicious. When He Dao saw this, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch, and he couldn't laugh or cry. You can keep it for yourself. I'm getting older and can't eat anything too greasy. Come here and fill out a few forms, and I'll handle the procedures for you. Okay. Chu Jia took the form and quickly filled it out. Chu Shuangyu watched quietly from the side, curious in her heart about Chu Jia's admission treatment. When I enrolled in school, my scholarship was 1 million, plus a piece of gold-level equipment. Judging from Chu Jia's astonishing achievement in clearing the 100th floor, his treatment must be several times higher than his own. Chu Jia filled out the form and handed it to He Dao. He Dao clicked on the computer and finished it quickly. Then, he took out a bank card and handed it to Chu Jia with a smile. Here, there are 50 million in this bank card, which is your scholarship. Your student card has also been granted dungeon permission. You can swipe any dungeon of our Kunlun Academy. As for the gold suit, you can go to the logistics office to pick it out tomorrow. Chu Jia took the bank card and thanked him with a smile on his face. Hey, thank you very much, Teacher He. After saying that, Chu Jia raised his bank card to Chu Shuangyu and said with a hint of sadness. Hey, I accidentally became a multimillionaire. Sister, do you think I am destined to get rich? Chu Shuangyu looked at the bank card in Chu Jia's hand and was stunned. Her beautiful eyes widened, looking at Chu Jia in disbelief. 50 million. Did I hear it wrong? Even for the best special admissions program, the admission scholarship should only be 5 million. Chu Jia's scholarship was actually 10 times higher. Compared to 1 million, it is 50 times. I worked hard to paint pictures for a whole year, but I didn't save 10 million. As soon as my brother enrolled in school, the astronomical figure of 50 million was paid. Chu Shuangyu, give me your student card. I've gone through all the procedures for you. He Dao's words brought Chu Shuangyu back from the shock. A big question mark popped up on her head. My procedures. Teacher, I am here with Chu Jia. I have nothing to do. He Dao was stunned when he heard this and looked at Chu Shuangyu strangely. Didn't Chu Jia tell you? In order to recruit this kid into Kunlun Academy, we spent a lot of money. Not only does he have a scholarship of 50 million and a golden suit for every 10 levels. As his sister, you also have it. Wah, what, me too. Chu Shuangyu's beautiful eyes widened and she was completely shocked. Chu Jia broke through the unprecedented 100 levels in the college entrance examination copy. Kunlun Academy gave him extraordinary preferential treatment, which she could understand. However, even my sister can enjoy the same high-standard treatment. This is a bit outrageous. She had been at Kunlun Academy for 1 year and had never heard of anything like this. How much the top brass of Kunlun Academy value Chu Jia. Chu Shuangyu felt that she was completely confused. Until the 50 million bank card was handed over to her, she still felt quite unreal. Hey, I'm sorry, Teacher He. Teacher He, please go home and have dinner as soon as possible. Let's leave first. After completing various procedures and knowing the location of his dormitory, Chu Jia took Chu Shuangyu and left the office. Looking at the backs of the two of them, he Dao smiled and murmured to himself. Boy, Kunlun Academy is bleeding heavily this time. Don't let me down. After leaving the government affairs building, Chu Shuangyu suddenly became very silent. He was completely different from the state he was talking about just now. No, sister, you have become a rich little woman now, why are you still not happy? Chu Jia looked at Chu Shuangyu in confusion. It's not that I'm unhappy, I'm just feeling. When the children grow up, they can earn money for the family. Woo, that's great, that's great. Chu Shuangyu hugged Chu Jia's arm tightly, crying and laughing, feeling extremely complicated. Ha, sister, don't worry, I will support this family from now on. Hey, I'll cover you from now on. Chu Jia patted his chest proudly. HMPH, you are so capable, you can cover me, but not now. You just changed jobs and your level hasn't been raised yet. Before you overtake me, just stand behind my sister. Chu Shuangyu regained her cold demeanor and gently rubbed Chu Jia's head. But I'm already level 43. Is level 43 very high? I'm afraid the special enrollments are now up to level 60. Ah, so high, how did they do it? Because of the special recruitment, they came to Kunlun Academy early and planned to form a team to upgrade. Even I was already level 51 at this time, so you are still young, do you understand? Okay. The two siblings chatted and soon arrived at the dormitory area. Chu Jia's dormitory is a small villa. This is a two-person dormitory, but Chu Jia's other roommate has not moved in yet. All kinds of furniture are available in the villa. Although not very luxurious, it is quite exquisite. Chu Jia was very satisfied. Thinking of going out to play together tomorrow, Chu Shuangyu simply stayed here for one night. The two siblings chatted until midnight before going back to their room to sleep. It's different from the summer vacation in my previous life. After the college entrance examination, candidates only have a 7-day short holiday. But for Chu Jia, it was enough. Chu Shuangyu took Chu Jia to visit many scenic spots in Kyoto. Because 50 million yuan unexpectedly fell from the sky, Chu Shuangyu immediately became financially free. There were some places that I was reluctant to go to before, but now I had a great time without any burden. Both siblings had a great time. Soon, the time came to the last day of the small vacation. Xiaoji, school starts tomorrow. The first thing you do when you enter school is military training. Today, sister, I will train you in advance. Let's go to the LV 60 inches thorn jungle, instance today to practice our skills. In the morning, Chu Shuangyu made breakfast for Chu Jia and said excitedly. Hearing is false, seeing is true. After holding back for 6 days, I can finally see the true strength of my brother. Good. Chu Jia stretched out and responded loudly. After playing for so long, it's time to start the upgrade journey. After breakfast, the two of them walked towards the school's copy area. The dungeons of Kunlun Academy are concentrated in a separate area, called the dungeon area. This copy area is actually a copy space. But there are no monsters in it. It's like a line integrator, connecting other replica channels. Students of Kunlun Academy can choose the dungeon to enter here. Arriving at the teleportation gate in the dungeon area, Chu Shuangyu and Chu Jia gave their student cards to the gatekeeper for inspection. After passing, the two walked into the door. The light and shadow rotated, and the two came to a huge square. The square is square, like a football field, but it is 6 or 7 times larger than the football field. On the edge, there are hundreds of replica gates of different colors floating and twisting. Next to the dungeon door, there are special signs marking the type and level of the dungeon. Tisk, tisk, Kunlun Academy actually has so many copies. If I had known I didn't want money, I would have just asked for the copy core. Chu Jia stared at the copies around him in stunned silence, feeling as if he had missed hundreds of millions. Kunlun Academy has a total of 166 copies. Not only is the quantity large, but the quality of the copies is also quite high. However, these are the assets of the Dragon Kingdom. Even if you propose it, Kunlun Academy will probably not agree. After all, every copy here is related to the growth of students. Chu Shuangyu explained to Chu Jia with a smile. Hearing this, Chu Jia suddenly nodded. But he didn't give up completely. Rules are dead, people are alive. Maybe Kunlun Academy will break through its bottom line one day. Although the square could not be said to be crowded, there were still hundreds of students sparsely present. Some people are looking for teammates, and some are counting the loot. Chu Shuangyu took Chu Jia and walked straight towards the thorn jungle. However, just halfway through, two figures suddenly blocked their way. Hey, the deputy captain is here to refresh the copy. Tisk, who is the handsome guy next to you? Is it possible that he is the younger brother that the deputy captain misses so much? The speaker was a tall boy with pale skin and the hair on his forehead blocking his right eye. The temperament is somewhat cold. Next to him was a boy with a crew cut, slightly bent over, who seemed to be the younger boy of the tall boy. When Chu Shuangyu saw the person coming, the smile on her face suddenly disappeared and she said coldly. Chen Feng, I should have said that I have nothing to do with the Shadow Hunting Society anymore, so don't bother me. Quote. The man named Chen Feng heard this and smiled nonchalantly. Deputy leader, I'm not bothering you, it's the leader who asked me to say something. He said, if you've had enough fun, go back quickly. The Shadow Hunting Club can't do without you, and he can't do without you, hee. After a pause, Chen Feng persuaded with emotion. If our leader is placed at Kunlun Academy, he can be considered a man of influence. Deputy Commander, you two are both talented and beautiful together. Why don't you want to do that? Chu Shuangyu sneered when she heard this. Ha, a man of the hour. His dirty deeds are indeed not something ordinary people can do. Chen Feng was speechless and laughed twice. Deputy Commander, all those rumors cannot be true. After all, the Shadow Hunting Club is also ranked high in Kunlun Academy. There are always some villains trying to discredit us. Chu Shuangyu snorted coldly. Okay, I don't have time to argue with you. I have the ability to distinguish whether it is true or false. After saying that, Chu Shuangyu took Chu Jia's hand, bypassed Chen Feng, and continued walking towards the thorn jungle copy. However, Chen Feng moved his body and blocked the two of them again, and said with a smile. Deputy Commander, please reply. This way I can go back to work, right? Chu Shuangyu's face was expressionless, and a chill flashed in her eyes. Get out of the way, if you dare to stop me again, I'll be rude. When Chen Feng heard this, he was not afraid at all and still had a sinister smile on his face. Kunlun Academy prohibited private fights, and he knew that Chu Shuangyu was just scaring people. Deputy leader, even if you don't think about yourself, you should always think about your lovely brother, right? Returning to the Shadow Hunting Society, you can easily obtain a lot of resources. If you start a new club from scratch, what will your poor brother do? Listening to Chen Feng's sinister tone, Chu Shuangyu felt like laughing inexplicably. Want to use Chu Jia as your weakness? Haha, just kidding. My brother now has a strong and thick thigh. Even I have been stained by his glory. Do we still need to rely on associations to accumulate resources? Just when Chu Shuangyu spoke, intending to end this boring conversation completely, Chu Jia on the side suddenly spoke. Senior Chen Feng, my sister may not have expressed herself clearly just now. Chu Jia listened to the conversation between the two and roughly guessed the whole story. This Chen Feng seems to be a member of my sister's previous club. For some reason, Chu Shuangyu had a falling out with the club and quit the Shadow Hunting Club. But the group leader still pestered Chu Shuangyu relentlessly. Oh, little brother, what do you say? Chen Feng raised his eyebrows and looked at Chu Jia curiously and expectantly. Chu Shuangyu's younger brother doesn't seem as tough-minded as her elder sister. His verbal promise actually moved him. As expected, He is from a small place and has little knowledge. However, maybe the group leader can start with this kid to attack Chu Shuangyu. Chu Jia smiled slightly and said very politely, "What my sister just meant was to tell you to get lost. If your regiment leader really wants to reply, you can tell him the same thing." Chu Shuangyu is Chu Jia's only relative. Even if she made a mistake, Chu Jia would help her but not take care of her. What's more, she is still the one being entangled now. As for Chen Feng, Chu Jia was not afraid at all. He has 2 major fields. Give him some time and he will soon be in the 2nd rank. Even now, he has 2nd turn alien undead like the Shadow Demon Bear. What kind of bullshit? Shadow Hunting Club dares to provoke my sister, it will be destroyed immediately. PFF. Hearing Chu Jia's words, Chu Shuangyu laughed out loud and couldn't help but give a thumbs up. As expected of his younger brother, he is so crazy and domineering. Chen Feng's face suddenly turned gloomy to the extreme. "Boy, how dare you scold me? Don't think that just because you got into Kunlun Academy, you are some great genius. In Kunlun Academy, if you pick a handful of geniuses, they are more evil than you." Before Chen Feng could finish speaking, Chu Jia directly pulled Chu Shuangyu forward. "Sister, you never said before that Kunlun Academy still has dogs." "Hey, you can't blame me, sister. Who would have thought that some people look like humans on the surface but are dogs behind their backs?" The 2 siblings talked unscrupulously, which made Chen Feng furious. He really hopes now that Kunlun Academy doesn't have any regulations prohibiting private fighting. Then he can go up and beat Chu Jia hard. Of course, even if there was no such provision, Chen Feng would not dare to take action. He is only level 150 now, while Chu Shuangyu had already reached level 170 when she left the Shadow Hunting Club. If there was a fight, he would definitely be the one to suffer. But, this doesn't stop me from teaching you a lesson. A gloomy sneer suddenly appeared on Chen Feng's angry face. He moved the hair from his forehead, revealing his right eye. Eye of the Netherworld. The gloomy eyes suddenly became dark and empty, as if they were trying to completely absorb the surrounding light. His profession is the SS level, Ghost Eye Master, which is a profession that can use pupil skills to cause mental attacks. This move, Eye of the Netherworld, allows you to directly see the enemy's soul. Although it is just an exploration skill, if used properly, it can give the enemy a terrifying feeling of nightmare. It's just right to teach this ignorant boy a lesson. Buzz. In Chen Feng's field of vision, Chu Jia's body began to gradually fade away. A soul-emitting white light gradually emerged. "Ha, boy, take it. This is your admission gift from Senior Chen Feng." Just when Chen Feng was about to unleash a mental shock on Chu Jia, the white soul light spots suddenly converged to form a terrifying white skeleton. This skeleton exudes a strong dark aura, as if it is the most terrifying horror in the world. Chen Feng didn't know what it was, but he began to tremble instinctively. What's going on? What I should see is the soul. What the hell is this skeleton? Chen Feng was frightened and planned to stop observing immediately. However, at this moment, the white skull suddenly turned around and looked back. 12 gloomy will-o-wisps burned in the empty eye sockets. They form a circle and rotate over and over again. And in the center of the will-o-the-wisp ring, there are 2 flying swords emitting golden light, floating quietly. Skeletons, will-o-the-wisps, and flying swords. It's all so weird and weird. Chen Feng didn't have time to react. What happened? I felt a stinging pain in my right eye, as if it had been stabbed hard by something sharp. Ah! Chen Feng covered his right eye and howled heartbreakingly. Red blood flowed from his eye sockets. The right eye was completely blind. What's going on? Chu Jia looked at Chen Feng with a strange expression. Just now, he felt as if someone was watching him. As soon as he turned around, Chen Feng fell to the ground and screamed. "Sister, is this person trying to get into trouble?" Chu Shuangyu was also confused. However, although he didn't know what happened, he understood Chen Feng's character. Not a good thing. Therefore, she did not stay any longer and pulled Chu Jia into the dungeon gate. "Brother Chen, this. Are you okay?" The younger brother on the side was holding Chen Feng in horror, having no idea what was happening. "My eyes are bleeding, do you think everything is okay?" Chen Feng slapped his little brother on the face, which made him feel miserable. Looking at the two disappearing figures, Chen Feng roared like crazy in his heart. Chu Shuangyu, Chu Shuangyu, Chu Shuangyu, you wait, you wait. In his opinion, Chu Jia is just a freshman who has just been admitted to Kunlun University. There is no way to hurt yourself. Therefore, Chu Shuangyu must have done something to Chu Jia. Moreover, as the deputy leader, Chu Shuangyu knows her abilities very well. Although he hated Chu Shuangyu deeply, Chen Feng had no intention of questioning her. After all, you have to do it yourself first. If things really get messed up, you will definitely be the one who suffers in the end. Therefore, he could only break his teeth and swallow them in his stomach. This woman, they have actually regarded their shadow hunting society as enemies for a long time. Be on guard at all times. Perhaps it's time to suggest to the leader to use some extraordinary means to treat this Chu Shuangyu. Seeing more and more people watching around him, Chen Feng spat hard and left the dungeon area. He now has severe pain in his right eye. Can't see anything. You must find a priest to heal yourself quickly. Chu Jia and Chu Shuangyu walked into the thorn jungle instance. What comes into view is a low and twisted forest. Their branches are twisted and ferocious, like the tentacles of an octopus, giving people the feeling of a dancing demon. This kind of tree is called thorn tree, also called devil tree. It is not a species on Blue Star, but a product of a natural, alien world. The monster in the dungeon, the bramble tree demon, is hidden in the woods. Its appearance is no different from an ordinary thorn tree. Only when a living creature passes by it will it suddenly reveal its fangs. Use branches full of spikes to wildly attack enemies around you. Chu Jia and Chu Shuangyu did not immediately go to the dungeon to spawn monsters. Sister, please tell me in detail about Chen Feng. Chu Jia looked at Chu Shuangyu and said. Chu Shuangyu sighed softly and nodded slightly. After I came to Kunlun Academy last year, the teacher assigned a team of 4 based on our professional characteristics. Then a strict upgrade plan was developed for us to execute. At that time, I was in a group with a knight named Shen Haoking. He was our captain. After a long period of fighting, we have become more and more familiar with each other. One day, he suddenly told me that he wanted to form a club and wanted me to join it. Originally, new students tend to join established clubs. His decision was very bold. But he was very good at talking and painted a very bright future. In the end, everyone in the team, including me, joined the club. This club is the Shadow Hunting Club. We are all special admissions students. We are considered geniuses among geniuses. With our continuous hard work, the Shadow Hunting Club has gradually taken shape and is developing on the right track. Chu Jia nodded, feeling that he was listening to a college student's entrepreneurial story, which was quite inspiring. But obviously, just like most entrepreneurial teams, we can share hardships, but we cannot share happiness. In the end, the entrepreneurial veterans broke up due to various reasons. Just as Chu Jia guessed, Chu Shuangyu's experience was slightly twists and turns, but it was not too surprising. After the Shadow Hunting Club returned to the right track, I gradually retreated behind the scenes and planned to hand over the camera to newcomers. Just be a pensioner for your retirement. However, when I stopped, I discovered that Shen Haoking actually did a lot of dirty things behind my back and behind everyone's back. Chu Shuangyu sighed, unable to hide the disappointment in her eyes. First of all, he pocketed half of the society's resources entirely. On the surface, they use the slogan of hard work to encourage everyone to continue killing monsters and completing tasks. Secondly, he also deceived and played with some female members of the club as the leader. In the end, his plan hit me. Knowing that he is such a well-dressed beast, I naturally would not agree. I decisively quit the club, but he refused to give up. He seemed to not give up until he caught me, and kept pestering me. That's just the way it is. Originally, Chu Shuangyu did not intend to involve Chu Jia in this matter. But now that it has happened, we have to face it. Given the importance Kunlun Academy attached to Chu Jia, Chu Shuangyu was not worried about any risks to Chu Jia. However, he still reminded, Xiaoji, I know you have plans to vent your anger on my behalf. But this Shen Haoking is very strong and has now reached level 185. Furthermore, private fights are prohibited within Kunlun Academy, and the punishment for violating school rules is very serious. So, you can have the idea of teaching Shen Haoking a lesson, but you can't act recklessly. Do you understand? Seeing Chu Shuangyu's serious look as she taught earnestly, Chu Jia grinned. Sister, from what you said, do I seem to be a reckless person? Chu Shuangyu snorted softly. She had a vague feeling that Chen Fang's inexplicable scream just now might have been Chu Jia's hand. However, she had no evidence, so it was difficult for her to speak. Okay, don't mind my business. I came to see your performance today. I have suppressed my strength now, so I can't take action. Don't let me down. Chu Shuangyu changed the topic and looked at Chu Jia expectantly. Chu Jia naturally did not disappoint Chu Shuangyu. School hasn't started yet, and there are no new students in the copy yet. He can show it freely. Sister, keep your eyes open. What's going to happen next will be exciting. Chu Shuangyu rolled her eyes. Hurry up, don't be such a jerk. Sister, I also stayed at Kunlun Academy for a year and saw all kinds of geniuses. No matter how powerful you are, I can still control your expression. Seeing that Chu Shuangyu had said this, Chu Jia didn't show off anymore, smiled slightly, and said in a deep voice. Undead realm, open. The low voice, like the devil's tune, gently knocks on the door of hell. A pale color spread from Chu Jia's feet, spreading at lightning speed, covering half of the thorn jungle in an instant. If you look closely, you will see that the pale color is actually filled with ghastly bones. Every bone exudes an ominous gray aura. Seeing this horrifying scene, Chu Shuangyu's calm expression suddenly disappeared, and she said with a look of astonishment. Xiaoji, what is this? Didn't you say that your domain is a mountain? Hearing this, Chu Jia scratched his head in embarrassment. Ah, sister, I forgot to tell you, this is another area of mine. Chapter 91. Another realm. Chu Shuangyu tilted her head and looked like you were kidding me. For thousands of years, teachers from other fields have worked hard and failed to create a field. It's been less than a month since you changed jobs, but you have 2 fields. If you use the sword domain, if you want to kill the monsters, I'm afraid you will have to blow up the entire map. But using the realm of the undead, it will be much easier. Chu Jia explained with a smile, then ignored Chu Shuangyu's shock and whispered. Wake up, my faithful servant. As soon as the words fell, the raging aura of death surged like a river, pouring into the corpses everywhere. Kaka. The bones all over the ground began to rustle, floating and splicing together to form undead skeletons burning with forest white will-o'-the-wisps. Dozens of undead shadow wolves and undead demon bears were also mixed in. Looking from a distance, all you can see is an army of pale undead. The scene of the field unfolding is shocking enough. But at this moment, the undead army all over the mountains and plains went from sleeping to waking up, standing up stiffly, which made people's scalp numb. Being stared at by countless pairs of pale eyes, Chu Shuangyu couldn't help but swallowed hard. Although she knew that these undead people were not looking at herself, but at Chu Jia beside her. But the vision shrouded in the breath of death still gave her an indescribable sense of oppression. She could feel that these undead skeletons were not too strong, probably at the same level as the thorn tree demon. But with tens of thousands of them, even a level 175 second level expert like her would have no choice but to run away. Go, destroy all the monsters in the copy. As the order was issued, the will-o'-the-wisps in the eyes of countless undead skeletons seemed to tremble violently. All the skeletons turned around and broke into the thorny jungle without hesitation. Ba bang bang. Sensing a living creature coming nearby, the thorn tree demon suddenly tore off its disguise. On the dark wrinkled bark, a terrifying face appeared. The twisted and ferocious branches whipped wildly at the skeletons in the territory. The thorn branches hit the undead skeleton's body, causing fine cracks to appear on his bones. But in the field, the aura of death lingered, and the injuries were quickly treated. The next moment, dozens of undead skeletons swarmed up. They didn't care about the attack of the thorn tree demon. They grabbed the trunk of the thorn tree demon and pushed hard in one direction. Puff puff puff. An angry expression appeared on the face of the thorn tree demon, but the anger soon turned into panic. Because it found that its body began to topple over and the tree roots began to be exposed from the soil. This is the order Chu Jia gave to the undead army through his mind, not to destroy the body of the thorn tree demon. These are your future brothers and sisters. The thorn tree demon beat the undead skeleton even more crazily, and finally beat an undead skeleton into pieces. However, this still cannot change its final outcome. The thick root system was forcibly pulled out. The thorn tree demon lay directly on the ground. Although it did not die directly, it lost the nourishment of the soil and suddenly became extremely wilted, and it could not even lift its branches. Such a scene was staged in various places in the realm of the undead. Instead of killing people, the undead army cuts down trees. Still using the most original method. Seeing this scene, Chu Shuangyu completely felt the terror of the undead army. I sighed in my heart, my brother seems to be even more perverted than he said before. However, she was also puzzled. Why did she have to pull out the thorn tree demon and hang it on the ground when it could be killed directly? As if seeing the doubts in Chu Shuangyu's heart, Chu Jia grabbed the void, and a domain sword suddenly appeared in his hand. Hey, sister, we can't just watch here, we have to have a sense of participation, right? The requirement for advancement in the sword domain is to kill 10,000 monsters with a sword. The requirement to advance to the realm of the undead is to summon 10,000 undead. So, if Chu Jia kills monsters with his sword and then turns them into undead, wouldn't he be able to accumulate progress in both areas at the same time? With that said, he summoned 2 shadow wolves and rode directly on them. Together with Chu Shuangyu, he walked slowly deep into the thorny jungle. Whoa! The sword light flashed across and directly pierced the body of the half-dead thorn tree demon. The ferocious face looked at Chu Jia angrily, and finally closed his eyes unwillingly. Stand up, new undead. But soon, under the continuous injection of death breath, the thorn tree demon's eyes opened again. However, at this time, its eyes also turned into 2 groups of silently burning white ghost fires. After transforming into an undead, the thorn tree demon gained a powerful advantage that broke through racial restrictions. That is, you no longer need to take root in the soil. Its source of power has become the breath of death, not the nutrients in the soil. The dense roots have now become the legs and feet of the undead tree demon, which can take it anywhere. Go ahead and join the sacred work of logging. Chu Jia smiled and gave orders to the undead tree demon. Tisk tisk, there is another race, it feels like eating crispy noodle cards. I just don't know if the mechanical aliens can become undead. Looking at the thorn tree demon twisting into the torrent of undead, Chu Shuangyu's beautiful eyes trembled, her face full of disbelief. In fact, when she saw Shadow Wolf, she had already guessed that Chu Jia had the ability to transform the undead. However, isn't transforming the undead a very complicated process? Arrange death rituals, chant death prayers, and connect death contracts. It's not like she has never seen a necromancer transform the undead. But my brother seems to have turned on the fool mode. In one sentence, the dead thorn tree demon turned into an undead. Moreover, it seems that there are no level requirements and quantity restrictions. Even the assassin himself was a little stunned when he saw it. If the necromancer saw it, he would probably vomit blood in envy. Kill the thorn tree demon, little monster, and gain 5,000 experience points. Kill the twisted tree demon, elite, and gain 7,000 experience points. Kill the violent tree king, boss, and gain 9,000 experience points. With the undead army clearing the way, even the boss would have to lie on the ground obediently and let Chu Jia handle it. Chu Jia's level is also soaring rapidly. In just half an hour, he was upgraded from level 43 to level 44. You know, even in a place where geniuses gather like Kunlun Academy, if you want to level up, you have to spend several days of hard work. Hey, sister, how are you? With my strength, can I handle tomorrow's military training? Tired of playing the lawn mowing game, Chu Jia simply equipped a few undead skeletons with domain swords and asked them to help him kill the tree demons. And I only need to use the transformation skill once on a large scale. Chu Shuangyu was so shocked by Chu Jia that she felt numb in her heart. No wonder Kunlun Academy is like a dog licker. This is simply worse than those monsters in the admissions process. However, as a sister, you must always maintain a little sister's majesty. Moreover, she is still serving as a senior student. Ahem, Xiaoji, although you are very strong. As the saying goes, the strongest has its own master, so you can't be too proud. You must learn from me, sister, and always maintain a humble heart. Chu Jia's mouth twitched. As soon as Chu Shuangyu opened her mouth, he knew that the elder sister was going to start teaching him. Without saying anything, he took out the skill book, Shadow Explosion, from the backpack space and handed it over. Sister, if you stop ideological education now, this skill book will be yours. You're so good, Chu Xiaoji, you're so naughty. You actually want to skip class. Your thinking is very problematic now. Chu Shuangyu wrinkled her lovely nose and pretended to be dissatisfied. Sister, I am now a rich little woman with 50 million yuan, don't even think about bribing me. After all, how could Chu Shuangyu not want the things that my brother offered me? However, after receiving the skill book, a pair of beautiful eyes suddenly opened. This is the Assassin's Range-based skill book. Chu Shuangyu's face was filled with shock. She looked at Chu Jia for a while, and then looked at the skill book for a while. It's unbelievable that Chu Jia could get such a good thing. After all, this kind of skill book is so rare that it has a price but no market. Even the top assassins from Kunlun Academy tried their best to get a range of skills book, but they failed. Seeing Chu Shuangyu's shocked expression, Chu Jia chuckled. What's up, sister, can we talk seriously about military training now? Chu Shuangyu pouted a little arrogantly. HMPH, your thinking is very problematic. But my sister is very satisfied with your attitude. I'll spare you this one time today, hee hee. As she said that, Chu Shuangyu couldn't hold back herself and burst into laughter. Mainly because this gift is such a surprise. Even more valuable than 50 million in cash. After mastering this skill, the assassin's shortcomings can be supplemented, and her strength will directly leap forward. After mastering and studying the skill book in front of Chu Jia, and calming down her mood for a moment, Chu Shuangyu spoke happily. I have no personal experience with the military training at Kunlun University. After all, special admissions students do not need military training. However, I have heard a lot of news, and I should be able to give you some reference. When Chu Jia heard this, his face was filled with astonishment. No, it doesn't matter if you don't take the college entrance examination for special admissions, why don't you even participate in military training? It's a naked special treatment. Chu Shuangyu shook her head and explained. Military training is actually about training students' spirit and body. Special admissions students have a training plan specially formulated by school teachers, which is equivalent to military training every day, so it's okay not to participate. Of course, there is another important reason. Each grade has to form a school team to represent Kunlun University in competitions and competition with other schools. They represent the image of Kunlun University and strive for honor for Kunlun University. The training plan for special admissions students is actually aimed at this goal. As a result, their time is more valuable and they will not participate in joint military training. Chu Jia was relieved when he heard this. He is afraid that his brother will not endure hardship, and he is also afraid that his brother will drive a Land Rover. Since special recruits are training with devils every day, it doesn't seem to matter whether they participate in military training or not. Sister, I understand. So what was last year's military training like? A complicated expression appeared on Chu Shuangyu's face, and she said two words with a wry smile. Hard, black, question mark. A row of question marks appeared on Chu Jia's head. I can understand it, but what does black mean? Chu Shuangyu shook her head and explained. The black here refers to the black heart. The instructors will try every possible means to plot against the students. The content of the designed military training can be said to be simply inappropriate for a human being. Chu Jia was stunned. In my previous life, military training consisted of kicking and walking in the sun and standing in a military posture. He really couldn't imagine what it would be like for the instructor to plot against the students. Seeing Chu Jia's confused look, Chu Shuangyu said with a smile. I'll tell you about last year's training content, and you'll know. They let the physics profession fight elemental monsters. Let the mages fight the mechanical monsters with super high magic resistance. The most speechless thing is that they also let auxiliary professions such as priests fight against the abyss shadow monsters that are known for their speed. After Chu Jia heard this, black lines appeared on his forehead. This is pushing students into the fire pit. Just listening to it, Chu Jia felt like there was no way for him to survive. Is this really a military training instructor? It's so abstract. I feel like I can kill you too. Chu Shuangyu spread her hands helplessly. Although it sounds ridiculous, like some kind of prank. But it turns out that the effect is surprisingly good. In just a few days of military training, these newly enrolled college students feel a lot more mature. Both patience and resilience have been greatly enhanced. After a pause, Chu Shuangyu gave her own reminder. So, regarding tomorrow's military training, sister, the only advice I can give you is always be careful and never believe the instructor's lies. Chu Jia nodded dumbfounded. These instructors are so good at playing, so he really needs to be more careful. Next, Chu Jia continued to hunt monsters in the dungeon, with Chu Shuangyu accompanying him. The two seemed to have returned to their childhood, a time when they were carefree and growing up together. It wasn't until 5 o'clock in the evening that the two of them left the copy. After a day of hard work, Chu Jia has risen from LV43 to LV60. This is also thanks to the high quality of Kunlun Academy's dungeons, many monsters, and sufficient experience. In addition, Chu Jia also subdued 812 undead tree demons. The advancement progress of the Sword Realm and the Undead Realm has increased a lot at the same time. However, neither Chu Jia nor Chu Shuangyu knew. Just after the two left the Thorn Jungle copy, two figures appeared in the sky. A powerful and majestic person is He Dao, the director of admissions. The other man has white hair and a white beard, a kind-faced look, and is a very gentle-looking old man. Principal, how about it? I'm going to pick up a treasure for Kunlun Academy right now, right? He Dao said, somewhat asking for credit. The principal smiled and nodded. Yes, this boy's future is limitless. Xiao He, I will take credit for this. Hearing this, He Dao laughed and was quite happy. After a moment, his expression became serious again and he asked hesitantly. Principal, there is something I don't know whether to talk about or not. The principal glanced at He Dao with a smile and said calmly, then don't talk about it. He Dao scratched his head in embarrassment. Ahem, I'd better tell it, otherwise I might not even be able to sleep well. The principal didn't care and said leisurely. Haha, let's talk about it then. He Dao calmed down his expression, carefully organized his words, and then asked solemnly. Principal, could this Chu Jia be the blasphemer that the alien monster calls him? In fact, He Dao knew the meaning of the repetitive and obscure language spoken by the alien monster. The reason why it was not revealed at the time was because the senior officials of Dragon Kingdom did not allow it to be leaked for the time being. And the meaning of that sentence is, the will of the gods must not be blasphemed. At that time, the meaning of this sentence was interpreted for the first time, and the entire high-level human race was excited. Because from this sentence, a lot can be interpreted. First, those alien worlds that invade humans should have high-ranking gods. Secondly, the reason why these alien races invaded the human world is because humans have blasphemed their gods. However, everyone soon discovered that deciphering these contents still could not eliminate human confusion. The confusion is more and more concrete. Foreign races have gods, so does the human world have its own gods? Alien monsters say that humans have blasphemed the gods. How do they blaspheme? And is this so-called blasphemer a god, a human being, a part of human beings, or all human beings? Or even, does this so-called blasphemer really exist? Is this a false slogan for alien invasion, but the real purpose is to occupy the human world and plunder human resources? In order to answer these questions, Longguo secretly established a special institution to conduct research. However, at present, only a few possibilities have been studied, and it has not been completely solved. Kunlun University is also a participant in research institutions. He Dao tends to believe that the blasphemer is a god. After all, anyone who can blaspheme the 9 gods must be an extremely powerful person. Regardless of whether he reaches the level of a god or not, it is not much different to say that he is a god. However, there is still a problem with this conjecture. That is, since there is a god in the human world, why has he never appeared in the world for thousands of years? He Dao's explanation is, facing the 9 gods alone, the human gods escaped but were seriously injured. The reason why he has not appeared in this world for a long time is because he is still recovering from his injuries, or he may have been reincarnated. The appearance of Chu Jia further strengthened He Dao's conjecture. After transferring for more than half a month, his strength is even comparable to that of a second-level expert. If Chu Jia had no secrets, He Dao would not believe it even to death. Principal Kunlun nodded thoughtfully. Chu Jia's strength is indeed incredible. What's more, his profession is still a field master. His appearance broke the understanding of domain masters for thousands of years. And the terrifying strength of the domain master is indeed a bit like a god. After a pause, he changed the topic again. But Xiao He, when you study a subject, you can't just rely on your ideals. Feelings can be used as inspiration, but they cannot be regarded as evidence, let alone the truth. He Dao heard this and knew that the principal was trying to point him out, not to be confined to his own ivory tower. Like a hungry person, everything tastes delicious. Even hungry people look at pigs and they look pretty. Okay, principal, I understand. Chu Jia and Chu Shuangyu went to the school cafeteria to have dinner together, and then parted ways. The number of people in the school has increased visibly. Moreover, it can be seen from the bright and cute eyes that most of them are freshmen. The new students reported that the old students were naturally very happy. You can flirt with your junior classmates. Ever since, Chu Jia walked from the cafeteria to the dormitory, a short 1-kilometer journey, and was struck by more than a dozen senior students. Oh, Junior, have you reported it yet? Senior sister will take you to report it. Junior, are you lost? Come to Senior's villa, there is a room. Senior sister will teach you tonight. The military training tomorrow will be very tough. Different from the reserved and intellectual nature of the college seniors in the previous life, the senior students in this world are more unrestrained and cheerful in temperament. Maybe it's because of the need to fight. If you get used to being beaten and killed, even the most introverted person can become insane. The senior students were very enthusiastic, and Chu Jia was only let in after adding their contact information. Back in the dormitory, Chu Jia was planning to take a shower and then go to bed early to prepare for tomorrow's military training. However, as soon as he entered the villa, Chu Jia found a fat boy sitting on the sofa in the hall. This little fat man looks like he is made up of 2 balls and 2 cylinders, exuding a chubby and cute look. At this moment, he was eating potato chips and watching TV. The round cheeks were shaking like a hamster, and there were chewing sounds from the mouth. While Chu Jia looked at the boy also looked at Chu Jia. Hello, are you another classmate in this dormitory? Hey, my name is Dola, please take good care of me in the future. The fat boy stood up, rubbed oil on his body, smiled and stretched out his hand towards Chu Jia. Dola, your name is quite funny. Hello, my name is Chu Jia. Chu Jia couldn't help but smile when he heard the boy's name. He didn't pay attention to Doli's hand that had just eaten potato chips and shook it directly. Hey, you can call me little fatty or big fatty, just don't call me fatty. I am an SSS level job changer, Nightmare Mage. I am currently level 43. What about you? As the name suggests, Dola people are cheerful and happy, just like Maitreya Buddha. Nightmare Mage is a powerful spiritual profession. Chu Jia lamented that Kunlun Academy was indeed Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and at the same time introduced himself. Hidden Professional Field Master, current level is LV 60. Occupational grade information is generally kept confidential. After all, if someone with intentions knows about it, they might take action. Whether it is true malice or various competitions, job changers will be put at a disadvantage. However, since Dola said it first, Chu Jia didn't mind announcing his family status. If nothing else, I will be roommates for 4 years, so it would be good to be more honest from the beginning. When Dola heard this, his cheeks twitched slightly, and he scratched his head in embarrassment. I'm sorry, I forgot that you can't ask for professional level information casually. Since you don't want to say it, I won't ask, hehe. The hidden professional field master has reached level 60. What's the difference between this and plainly saying, I don't want to tell you? Not to mention the profession of field engineer, whether you can get into the 3 universities is still a problem. Is this the level, LV 60? I'm afraid only those perverts in the special admissions class can achieve this, right? Most of the special recruits are still painting pictures in the copy, but Chu Jia is obviously not. Seeing Do Li's disbelief, Chu Jia didn't explain anything. Sitting on the sofa, we chatted about other topics. After chatting, Chujia learned that Dola was a native of Kyoto and his family ran a small company. Although it is a small company, its scale is more than 10 times larger than the Liang Group. After briefly communicating with each other and confirming the gathering time and place for tomorrow's military training, Chujia went to take a shower and returned to his room. There are chat messages on the phone from the senior sister, as well as chats between Zhang Qianan, Qin Xiaoxiao and Tang Ya. Chujia chatted with them for a while, then lay on the bed and fell asleep. On the sofa, Dola watched Chujia walk into his room, with a sly smile on his plump face. Although his family appears to be a second-rate small company, in fact, it is an underground boss that buys and sells information. In Kyoto and even across the country, its status is quite high. Otherwise, Dola would not have been able to reach the super high level of LV43 as soon as he entered school. Don't want to tell me your professional level. It's not up to you. Hey, in front of me, Dola, all darkness has nowhere to hide. Dola thought proudly, quickly edited the message and sent it to his housekeeper. Old Wang, please check the information of my roommate, Chujia, for me. Okay, master. The butler replies instantly. The corners of Doli's mouth curled up, silently counting in his heart. With his family's information network, it only takes 10 seconds for any information to appear in front of him. 10, 9, 5. Just after counting to 5, the phone vibrated and there was a message from the housekeeper. Tisk, tisk, I found it so quickly. It seems like this kid is just an ordinary person. All information is made public, and no confidentiality work is done at all. Dola guessed in his mind and looked at the phone screen. However, the message on his cell phone made him look stunned, with a look of astonishment on his face. Master, I found it, but I don't have the right to check it. Forehead. As his personal butler, Lao Wang has level 7 authority. Why can't I see the information about a new student? I didn't expect that this Chujia was a bit unusual. While Dola was secretly surprised, the curiosity in his heart was even more ignited. He opened an encryption software and after some operations, sent another message to the housekeeper. Use my authority this time, the dynamic password is 01187443. As the eldest young master, his authority is level 8, second only to his father's level 9 authority. It can be said that except for information at the state secret level, he can read any information in the company. Okay, master. The steward sends the message and then quickly operates in the company's information database. In less than 3 seconds, the housekeeper message came again. Master, your authority is still insufficient. Dola was completely shocked when he saw the news about the housekeeper. Even with level 8 permissions, you can't view Chujia's information. Doesn't this mean that Chujia's information has reached level 9? The highest level of confidentiality. But Chujia just said clearly that he comes from a small city called Dongsheng City. The family is just an ordinary family. Dola used his rich experience in understanding people to judge that Chujia was not lying. So, why does an ordinary person's information level reach level 9? Dola was puzzled, but he realizes it now. My roommate is probably a big boss. Master, do you need to apply for level 9 permission from me? The butler's message came again. Dola sighed and replied. No, remember, I didn't check any information today. As the little emperor of the news world, Dola has known since he was a child that information has terrifying power. He can easily kill his enemies and destroy himself easily. It is really stupid to explore the secrets of level 9 just for your own curiosity. Moreover, Dola still had an inexplicable feeling in his heart. Dad has level 9 permissions and still cannot view Chujia's information. Chujia's information was probably directly sealed up by the senior officials of Dragon Kingdom. Why is my dignified little underground prince so scared now? Hey, I thought I could show off moderately after going to college. I'll just pretend to be a grandson from now on. Anyway, pretending to be a pig is my specialty. The next day, Chujia got up and planned to go to the cafeteria for breakfast. Although there is a kitchen in the villa, most students do not have time to cook by themselves. However, as soon as he arrived in the lobby, Chujia saw a steaming and sumptuous breakfast. And Doli's smiling face. Hey, brother Jia, you're up. Come, let's eat together. Chu Jia's mouth opened slightly, a little stunned. He didn't expect that Dola, a wealthy young man, had such an easygoing personality. He even prepared breakfast for himself. Chu Jia didn't know that his information had been super encrypted, and he didn't know that Dola was in trouble last night. From his perspective, he only felt that this fat man could handle it. Thank you. How much will it cost? I'll transfer it to you. Chu Jia sat down at the dining table and asked. Although the reception was warm, Chu Jia could not eat with peace of mind. After all, we just met yesterday. It's all about money. Brother Jia, you're making a fool of yourself when you say this. My butler will bring me meals every day, just bring an extra portion. Dola said very boldly. His move was originally to please Chu Jia, but asking for money would be pointless. Chu Jia nodded when he heard this and did not force it. Doli's family is obviously not short of money, so I should repay him appropriately elsewhere in the future. After breakfast, the two came to the dungeon area together. This is the gathering place, and the location of the military training is in the dungeon. When Chu Jia and the two arrived, hundreds of students had already gathered in the square. The youthful atmosphere adds a bit of vitality to this empty dungeon square. Everyone looked at each other, and some chatted with each other and formed teams. Chu Jia didn't participate in it, and just chatted with Dola. During this period, Chu Jia also saw two sisters, Lu Xin and Lu Yan. At 8 o'clock, a dozen instructors wearing Dragon Kingdom combat uniforms entered the dungeon square. The expressions of the students suddenly became quiet, and they looked expectantly and solemnly at the uniform instructor. The instructor came to the crowd, and the leader spoke loudly. Hello, fellow students. We are the instructors for this military training. Next, we will divide the students into 4 major groups. Students who heard the name, please stand in line behind the corresponding instructor. There was no small talk, he was quick and straight to the point. Immediately afterwards, 4 instructors began to recite the students' names. When the students heard their names, they trotted up behind the corresponding instructors and lined up consciously. Chu Jia and Dola were assigned to the second group together. Lu Xin was also assigned to this group. However, my younger sister Lu Yan was assigned to a group. The instructor of their 4th group was a lean and short man. His skin was tanned, but his whole person was very energetic, and his eyes exuded sharp light. Some students did not dare to look at the instructor. Soon, more than 1,000 students were divided into 2 groups, with nearly 300 people in each group. The lean instructor put away the list, glanced at all the students in the second group, smiled slightly and said, Hello, fellow students, I am your instructor for this military training. You can call me Instructor Feng. The content of military training will definitely be a little difficult, so students, please persevere. It doesn't matter if you can't persevere, I will help you persevere. So, I hope we can spend this military training life happily. Although Instructor Feng smiled very honestly, all the students felt shuddering. After the brief introduction, Instructor Feng led the second group of members into a copy. This is a barren Gobi desert, surrounded by long stretches of yellow sand and bare rocks. All you can see is depression. After all the students entered the instance, Instructor Feng summoned a puppet wrapped in silver metal. The puppet holds a sword in its hand, shining brightly and looking very cool. The students looked at the puppet curiously, not knowing what was going to happen next. Instructor Feng didn't let everyone wait long. He took out a tablet from the storage space, which contained the detailed information of the second group of classmates. Immediately afterwards, he began to announce the preparations for the military training. Next, students from the combat profession will come to fight the puppets one by one. The puppets will give you points based on your performance. And I will divide you into groups A-B based on your scores. As for the supporting profession students, you will automatically be divided into Group C. After saying that, Instructor Feng began to read the names. Lu Wei, arrive. After the words fell, a boy who looked a little reserved squeezed out of the crowd and came to the instructor. Everyone also subconsciously moved back to make room for this classmate. Instructor Feng nodded. Let's get started. Lu Wei's face was a little depressed. Why was he the first? But now that everyone is up, he can only fight hard. He took out his weapon and it turned out to be a heavy axe. The thick axe blade looked heavier than Lu Wei himself. Taking a deep breath, Lu Wei raised his battle axe high. A ray of earth yellow light circulated endlessly on it, and the battle axe seemed to become a bit heavier. It seemed that Lu Wei planned to use his big moves as soon as he came up. Although he didn't know the difference between Group A-B, he still wanted to enter Group A. However, before Lu Wei's skills were fully charged, the puppet actually moved first. Whoa! Lu Wei only felt a flash of silver light, and his abdomen was slapped hard by the back of the sword. Hiss! Lu Wei gasped, grimaced in pain, and staggered back. Skills that were about to be charged were also directly interrupted. 0 points. Looking at the dazzling scores on the puppet's forehead, Lu Wei looked angry and said unwillingly. Instructor Feng, you didn't say that this puppet would actively attack. As the first student to take the stage, I wanted to perform well and leave a strong impression on everyone. As a result, the impression was left, but it was nothing. This is too confusing. Instructor Feng shrugged and said indifferently. I didn't say it wouldn't attack on its own. Besides, the puppets all have weapons in their hands. Do you think they are just decorations? Lu Wei's face turned red and white. He actually thought that the puppet might attack. But he thought that even if he attacked, the puppet should counterattack after he made the move. Who would have thought that it would even sneak attack? After straightening his expression, Lu Wei applied. Instructor Feng, I hope to try again. Instructor Feng showed a hint of displeasure on his face and said coldly. No time. Lu Wei, Group B, go and stand over there. Seeing that Instructor Feng didn't give him any face, Lu Wei's face became even more ugly and he shouted. Instructor, this is not fair. I was the first to play, so I deserved a chance to try and make mistakes. A meaningful smile appeared in Instructor Feng's eyes, and he sighed. It's quite individual. I won't give you the chance to try and make mistakes, but I can give you a chance to do 1,000 push-ups. Go and do it. If the test is over and you haven't finished it, then add 1,000 more. Lu Wei was speechless and stunned. Isn't this instructor too bad? He wanted to say something more, but Instructor Feng said coldly, 2,000, which made Lu Wei become honest instantly. He trotted to the side and started to work on the earth. Seeing this scene, the surrounding students were even more in awe of Instructor Feng. Next, Qi Bing. The second person on the stage was a female classmate with a cool temperament. With Lu Wei's experience, she attacked the puppet fiercely as soon as she came up. She holds 2 daggers in her hands, and when she attacks, she looks like a butterfly dancing, which is really beautiful. Crack! The puppet swung out its sword and directly knocked this beautiful butterfly to the ground. 54 points. Looking at his score, an embarrassed blush appeared on Qi Bing's cold face. This puppet is really awesome. She tried her best, but was still hung up and beaten by the puppet. The final score was less than 60 points. So shameful. Group B, next. Instructor Feng told the result expressionlessly and continued to call the next student. Everyone around them felt a little uneasy when they saw the students coming up one by one and being beaten down one by one. Brother Jia, what a tragedy. I don't even have to play. I know I will definitely be assigned to Group B. It's over, it's a bad start. Dola looked at the situation on the field and cried to Chu Jia depressedly. Chu Jia was confused. You haven't even started yet, why are you saying depressing words? Dola let out a long sigh. Have you forgotten my profession? Chu Jia was stunned for a moment, then suddenly realized. Although the Nightmare Mage is a powerful mage profession, the puppet is his nemesis. Because the puppet has no spirit at all. Haha, my condolences. Actually, Group B is pretty good. With your strength, you might be able to dominate Group B. Chu Jia patted Dola on the shoulder and comforted him with a smile. Forget it about being the king. I hope this is just an ordinary group. As the young master of the Do family, he knew best that these instructors were having a lot of fun, so he could only pray depressedly in his heart. At this moment, the instructor called out the name, Dola. He took a deep breath, waved to Chu Jia, and went to the instructor to explain his situation. I thought that with the title of SSS level Nightmare Mage, I could at least get some friendship points. Result, Dola, 0 points, Group B. Dola. Watching Dola walk towards Group B with his head drooped and sighing. Chu Jia wanted to laugh inexplicably. However, he was also a little worried about his test later. After all, this puppet uses a sword. It is impossible to hurt yourself who has the Tiandao sword body. How should the test scores be calculated? Just as Chu Jia was thinking, exclamations suddenly came from the audience. Chu Jia looked back. I saw a young man wearing martial arts costumes who looked like a dragon. The attack of the puppet was easily resolved by him. While the puppet paused, the boy clenched his fist with 5 fingers and punched the puppet's abdomen. Clang, accompanied by a sound of gold and iron clashing. The puppet was actually beaten back repeatedly. The number on his forehead flashed quickly, and 100 points popped up directly. Oh my god, 100 points. It's actually a perfect score. This classmate is so awesome. What is his profession? It turns out that this puppet can also be defeated. Love, so handsome. Seeing someone defeat the puppet, all the students cheered. The martial arts boy raised his chin proudly, enjoying the feeling of being sought after by everyone. Instructor Feng looked at the crowd cheering with a half smile. Defeat your own puppet. No. It was just repelled. It's still the knockback at level 50. If so, the puppet truly releases its full power, and no one here can take the next move. However, it is quite good to score 100 points. Wu Chenyan, Group A. Instructor Feng announced the results, once again causing waves in the crowd. After all, Wu Chenyan is the first member of Group A in such a long time. After a brief climax, the test continued. After Wu Chenyan ate crabs for the first time, more and more people entered Group A. The eyes of the students were blazing, and the crowd was so excited that it seemed as if the puppet idol would die if they fought. The scores are getting higher and higher. However, there has never been a second perfect score. Chu Jia watched as there were fewer and fewer classmates around him, and finally, it was his turn. Next, Chu Jia. Hearing his name, Chu Jia strode forward. All the classmates around looked at Chu Jia curiously. The curiosity in Do Li's eyes was particularly strong. It is false to say that Chu Jia's career information is not curious. At first, he might just be slightly curious. But after even being unable to view Chu Jia's information with level 8 authority, his curiosity was aroused to an extremely high level. We can take this opportunity to see what kind of incredible profession Chu Jia is. However, under the gaze of everyone, Chu Jia did not go directly to the puppet but to Instructor Feng. What's going on? Is it possible that Brother Jia also has a spiritual profession? Or is it that even if he joins Group B, he still has to hide his career information? Do Li's eyes widened, not knowing what Chu Jia was going to do. Instructor, can you change to a puppet? In the doubtful eyes of everyone, Chu Jia revealed his purpose. This puppet can't hurt him at all. Therefore, in order for the test to proceed smoothly, he decided to suggest that Instructor Feng change it. Instructor Feng's profession should be puppet master. Almost all the combat power of this profession comes from puppets. Therefore, naturally there will not be only one puppet. Change the puppet. Why? Instructor Feng was stunned. He thought Chu Jia was also here to receive 0 points directly, but he never expected that he would ask to change the puppet. This weird request made Instructor Feng confused for a while. This puppet can't test my results. Chu Jia shrugged and told the truth. Instructor Feng was stunned when he heard this, and then he couldn't hold it back and burst out laughing. The students around him also gave Chu Jia a thumbs up with astonishment on their faces. Brother, you are a cruel person. Didn't you see what a bear we were beaten into by this puppet just now, and you still don't think it's enough? Just because of his arrogance, I would like to call him the #1 hottie. It was obvious that everyone did not understand what Chu Jia really meant. I thought Chu Jia thought the puppet's combat power was not enough and asked Instructor Feng to increase the power. Even Wu Chenyan couldn't help looking at Chu Jia with a sneer. The test was almost over, and he was the only one with a perfect score. This Chu Jia is planning to raise the difficulty level and overwhelm himself. You are crazy enough, but I don't know if you have the strength. Young man, just feel free to test boldly. Even if the puppet really can't measure your score, I will manually grade it for you. Instructor Feng laughed so much that tears came out. He has been an instructor for many years, and this is the first time he has been so happy by a student. Okay, instructor. Since Instructor Feng said so, Chu Jia had no objection. He turned towards the puppet. All the classmates looked at it with leisurely attention. I want to see if Chu Jia, the king of bullies, is just pretending to be cool or is he really cool. However, until Chu Jia reached within 5 meters of the puppet, he still did not take out his weapon. Seeing this scene, the students were stunned. Zhou Sao, he's really good at showing off. You don't even have weapons. What did he think? Not only does he not hold a weapon, but his current physical condition is also much more relaxed. If the puppet is given to him now, he can fly 10 meters directly. Oh no, 20 meters. The puppets seem to have a preparation time. Wait for students to attack it. When the student does not attack for a long time, it will take the initiative to attack. Obviously, Chu Jia's inaction has exceeded the puppet's waiting time limit. Whoa, the puppet raised its long sword and slashed at Chu Jia. Ah, at such a close distance, Chu Jia didn't take any precautions. Some timid students subconsciously exclaimed. Other students also had their mouths twitching. I didn't expect this guy to be really ruthless. The puppets have already taken action, but you are still showing off. Just when everyone thought that Chu Jia was going to fly out in embarrassment at the next moment, an incredible scene happened. Bang! The moment the long sword was about to hit Chu Jia, it suddenly deflected and hit the ground heavily. Cut a deep ravine out of the hard rock on the ground. Chu Jia, on the other hand, was still standing where he was, safe and sound. Everyone, Instructor Feng, what just happened? Missed. The puppet is broken. The students looked at Chu Jia dumbfounded, their eyes full of confusion. Even Instructor Feng was surprised. With his level 4 strength, he didn't even see clearly how Chu Jia had just escaped. The puppet also seemed to be distracted for a moment. But soon, without emotion, it returned to its state again. The command it receives is to repel the opponent, or to be repelled by the opponent. It will continue to try to execute commands until the task is completed. Ever since, an incredible scene appeared on the scene. Swish, swish, swish. The puppet held a long sword in its hand and slashed wildly at Chu Jia. The sword light flashed and formed a bright sword net, enveloping Chu Jia's entire body. Chu Jia, on the other hand, just stood there quietly, not attacking, not defending, not doing anything. However, the attack that was like a torrential rain sent rubble flying all around, but it didn't hurt Chu Jia at all. At this time, the students around me couldn't laugh at all. Emotional Chu Jia was not bragging just now. This puppet really cannot measure his strength. Compared with Chu Jia, even if Wu Chenyan is 100%, he can only be considered a younger brother. But how did Chu Jia escape the attack? The eyes of all the students were almost bloodshot, and they were still confused. The confused look in his eyes was like that in a math class when the teacher asked everyone, "Did you understand?" after finishing the lecture. It made everyone have double doubts about his eyes and IQ. Instructor Feng understood it clearly. Also shocked. Chu Jia did not dodge the attack, but the puppet's attack was bounced away the moment it hit Chu Jia. Such intensive attacks can all be deflected silently. What kind of profession is this and what skills are it? Even the well-informed Instructor Feng couldn't tell the difference for a while. But he had a vague feeling that he seemed to have been assigned a treasure student. After thinking for a long time, I still have no clue. Instructor Feng clicked on Chu Jia's information on the tablet and planned to read the answers directly. Name, Chu Jia. Occupation, not disclosed yet. Level, not public yet. Instructor Feng was a little depressed. It felt like I had encountered an extremely difficult question, and after thinking about it for a long time I couldn't find an idea, so I decided to take a look at the answer. As a result, the answer was written with an omitted. However, although except for his name, all information about Chu Jia is not disclosed for the time being. However, some information can also be interpreted from these 4 words. There is no doubt that Chu Jia's profession is very powerful and outrageous. So outrageous that the school needs to protect his information. Just like the college entrance examination scores in previous lives, only those who ranked extremely high would have their scores blocked. People with lower scores can only close their eyes and minds. It seems that my evaluation of this boy just now was somewhat underestimated. After so many years as an instructor, this is the first time I have encountered a student who keeps information confidential. Instructor Feng shook his head and smiled bitterly, looked at Chu Jia, and shouted to stop the fight. Okay, that's it. Chu Jia, Group A. As soon as the voice fell, the puppet immediately stopped moving. The sword was retracted and he stood aside with an upright posture, motionless like a work of art. Chu Jia nodded to Instructor Feng, turned around and walked to Group A. Standing next to an open space, looking at the next test. The state of mind is extremely stable. A group of students from Group A looked at Chu Jia with shining eyes, full of awe for the strong man. Although Chu Jia didn't take action just now, compared to the shit they were beaten, Chu Jia's attack was really impressive. There is a kind of operational beauty of killing the boss with one hit of blood without any damage. Even more outrageous. After all, they didn't see clearly how Chu Jia dodged. It's open. The cliff is open. Do Li's eyes widened and he looked at Chu Jia in disbelief. Compared with other students, Do Li's vision is more than one level higher. Therefore, he and Instructor Feng came to the same conclusion. Facing the attack from the puppet, Chu Jia didn't dodge at all. He stood quietly in front of the puppet. Bounce, bounce, bounce away the small sword. Everyone in Dola was dumbfounded. He knows both astronomy and geography. This is the first time he has seen such a defiant defense skill. Only Wu Chenyan clenched his fists with a look of reluctance. Although Chu Jia had no points, he felt like Chu Jia scored 200 points. He usurped his position as number 1. You said you were going to do a battle test, why are you doing magic? Wei Hong, Group B. Lu Juyao, Group A. Chen Wen, Group A. The remaining students tested quickly one after another. However, there is still no perfect scorer. As for evildoers like Chu Jia, that is even more impossible to happen again. After all the students had finished the test, Lu Wei managed to finish 2,000 push-ups. What everyone found incredible was that the number of students in Group A was not as small as expected. The number of people in the two groups AB is almost the same. Chu Jia's eyes flickered, and he probably guessed Instructor Feng's intention of forming a group, team training. A strong teammate, a weak teammate, and an assist. A team that conforms to basic logic is formed. At the same time, dividing more than 200 people into different teams makes it easier to conduct various weird trainings. It was just as Chu Jia guessed. After all students finished testing, Instructor Feng announced the next content. Next, a member of Group A member of Group B, and a member of Group C start forming a team. Members of Group A serve as captains and select teammates in turn. After finishing speaking, Instructor Feng glanced at Wu Chenyan, who was at the front of Group A, and said calmly, Wu Chenyan, let's start with you. Yes, Instructor. Wu Chenyan nodded and walked proudly to the center. His gaze swept across the members of Group B from left to right. After looking around, I didn't make a good choice. I looked around again from right to left, but still didn't make a good choice. Wu Chenyan shrugged helplessly. These members of Group B are all losers. Just like the discounted dishes in the vegetable market, apart from being cheap, they are not attractive at all. If the instructor hadn't asked for it, he wouldn't have chosen any of them. Forget it, just pick one. Just when Wu Chenyan was about to pick someone he liked, the classmate named Lu Wei suddenly shouted. Classmate Wu Chenyan, choose me. You are a speed-based profession, and I am a strength-based profession. If you and I complement each other, we will definitely achieve the best results. The students in Group B were stunned when they heard this. Ah, can you still promote yourself? Wu Chenyan looked at Lu Wei and nodded, it's just you. Upon hearing this, Lu Wei walked out of the crowd with a smile and stood next to Wu Chenyan. During the test, he lost a lot of face. Therefore, he needs to find it again in subsequent training. Choosing a good teammate can undoubtedly make this task easier. Lu Wei's ideal teammate is Wu Chenyan. A perfect score is enough to prove how powerful he is. As for Chu Jia, although Lu Wei also felt that he was a bit powerful, he felt more that he was sensational and flashy. He stood there for a long time without making a single move. Forming a team with him is not like buying a lottery ticket. It's fine if you win, but if you don't win, wouldn't it be a loss of blood? With Lu Wei's demonstration, the auxiliary professions in Group C immediately transformed into salesmen and began to promote themselves. As a perfect scorer, Wu Chenyan has a big tree to enjoy the shade, and everyone wants to be on the team with him. Wu Chenyan's attitude was still the same as before. He believes in his own strength, and he believes in it extremely. Therefore, support and the like are just additions. In the end, Wu Chenyan chose the girl with the loudest voice. The first team was formed, and the following students followed suit. However, their situation is completely incomparable to Wu Chenyan. They need to clearly explain their strengths and the teammates they need, and the decision will be made jointly by both parties. Sometimes, even the boss of Group A has to beg students from Group B and Group C to join. Just like a startup company, the boss is the grandson, and it depends on the employees' faces. In Fortune 500 companies, employees are like grandchildren, and it depends on the boss's face. This situation lasted until Chu Jia started picking teammates. As soon as Chu Jia walked to the front, all the members of Group B and Group C climaxed directly. Chu Jia, choose me. Choose me. Chu Jia, I am a magic swordsman, one is stronger than two. Chu Jia, choose me, my name is Yorong, Yorong. Chu Jia, I declare you, I declare you. Ah, this. Why do you still have a confession? The fierce noise made Chu Jia's eardrums buzz. If Instructor Feng hadn't been watching from the side, I'm afraid these guys would have rushed up. Wu Chenyan looked at this lively scene and couldn't help but clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. I didn't expect Chu Jia's popularity to be so exaggerated. Compared with him, the difference between me and him is simply the difference between an 18th tier star and a king superstar. Those who had formed a team, as well as the members of Group A who had not formed a team, looked at this scene with envy on their faces. Is this really about choosing teammates? Why does it feel like choosing a concubine? Those guys almost knelt down and shouted, "Long live my emperor!" Just then, bang, a chubby figure pushed through the crowd, knelt down in front of Chu Jia, and hugged Chu Jia's thigh without letting go. Brother Jia, we have eaten together and slept together. You must not forget my concubine. People on the sidelines were stunned. Hold the grass. Are there really people who kneel down? Lu Wei opened the era of sales promotion. You fat man, do you want to start the era of kneeling clan? What about personality, bottom line, and position? What does it mean for you, a fat man, to hold two legs alone? You don't give us a chance at all, do you? Wait, there seems to be another leg. Shy. The corners of Chu Jia's mouth twitched. Fat man, if you form a team, form a team. Don't taint my innocence. Who the hell has slept with you? Dola sneered. Aren't we roommates? One meaning, hee hee. Brother Jia, choose me. We know each other and you know what you're doing, right? Chu Jia rolled his eyes. Okay, get up quickly, don't be embarrassed. Seeing what Chu Jia said, Dola chuckled, stood up and stood behind Chu Jia, and raised his eyebrows proudly at the members of Group B. That look seemed to say, look, the emperor still chose me, you coquettish fools. The members of Group B gnashed their teeth angrily, only hating that their bottom line was too high. Chu Jia looked at Group C. Swish, swish, swish. Dozens of students in Group C bowed slightly and already took the starting position. His eyes wandered over Chu Jia's body, thinking about where to hold Chu Jia later. When he feels comfortable, so does Chu Jia. Ahem. At this moment, Instructor Feng's light cough reached everyone's ears, causing all the students to tremble. Seeing everyone looking at them, Instructor Feng smiled and waved his hand. It's okay, it's just that I'm old and have a bad voice. Dola, please do 1,000 push-ups to help me relieve my throat discomfort. Dola, instructor, if you have a bad voice, does it have anything to do with me doing push-ups for a dime? It's really disgusting that you are so far-fetched. Dola was trading skins in his heart, but he could only still smile on his face. Lu Wei's lesson was still in front of him, how dare he talk back to Instructor Feng? 1, 2. Seeing Dola start to do push-ups with difficulty, the students in Group C calmed down instantly. Why can't they see it yet? This is Instructor Feng teaching Dola a lesson for breaking the rules. You can communicate, but you can't get started. Ever since, the students in Group C started making noisy self-promotions again. Everyone is trying their best to prove to Chu Jia, I am the best. Most of the members of Group C are girls. Chu Jia seemed to see them grabbing special eggs in the supermarket decades later. Lu Xin, let's go together. Chu Jia ignored the dancing and chattering people in front of him, and his eyes fell on a gentle girl behind Group C. Lu Xin didn't fight, just stood quietly, like a blooming lotus, looking at Chu Jia with a smile. After hearing Chu Jia call her name, the smile on her face grew wider. With a soft hum, he moved lightly and walked to Chu Jia's side. When the girls in Group C saw this scene, their hearts were broken. The reason why they were vying to form a team with Chu Jia was: firstly, it was because Chu Jia's test performance was so amazing. But more importantly, Chu Jia is so handsome. It's simply the perfect first love boyfriend's face. I heard that the military training at Kunlun Academy is very inappropriate. Then with such a handsome boy by your side, you can look at him from time to time to relieve your depressed mood, right? However, he chose her, but she is not me. I feel like I can't love anymore. After choosing two teammates, Chu Jia's team was formed. He and Lu Xin walked to the side and stood there, chatting and watching Dola do push-ups. Dola is obese and it is difficult to do physical exercise. In addition, he is a mage and his strength is weak. I haven't even done a few and I'm already sweating profusely. Fortunately, this product is really not bad for money. When I was tired, I lay down on the ground and secretly took a few pills and stuffed them into my mouth. Then he started to lie down and push up in a lively manner. Instructor Feng naturally saw all this, but he selectively ignored it. It's just a small punishment. As long as the meaning of education is achieved, there is no need to be too demanding. Many students from Group B and Group C have not formed a team yet. In fact, a large part of the reason is because they are waiting for Chu Jia. Now that Chu Jia has completed team formation, the entire team atmosphere suddenly became anxious. Just like the single aristocrats in the previous life, they always felt that there was no need to get married early. But when you are over 30, when you see your friends' children being so good at it, you will suddenly feel a great sense of urgency in your heart. As a result, the remaining team formation went extremely smoothly. There is no one left, so I still have to choose one and make do with it. Finally, all the auxiliary professions have been selected. The remaining 6 combat professionals are all boys. Instructor Feng waved his hand and asked them to form 2 pure combat teams. I see that other teams have sweet ladies who can treat them gently when they are injured. These 6 male classmates were extremely depressed. Dola, get up. We are about to start formal military training. After the team was formed, Instructor Feng glanced at Dola and said angrily. Until now, Dola still has not finished 1,000 push-ups. Not even half of it was finished. Dola felt happy and secretly thought that he had escaped disaster. Although he was supported by pills, these 500 push-ups almost killed him. Hey, thank you, instructor, thank you, instructor. Dola stood up with a smile on his face, quickly found Chu Jia, and planned to go over and meet Chu Jia. However, Instructor Feng's faint words behind him made him freeze in place. Make it up before the end of the military training, and then count again. Dola was sweating profusely and his face was flushed with heat. But at this moment, he felt that his heart was ice cold. Instructor Feng ignored him, glanced at everyone, 92 teams, and said loudly. The preparations have been completed, let's start our first training. Explore the enemy's situation. With our location as the center, there is a monster tribe in each of the 8 directions: southeast, northwest, southeast, northeast, southwest, and northwest. What you need to do is to find out the situation of the monster tribe, including the size of the monster's tribe, the number of monsters, and the range of strength. In short, think of yourselves as a scout. The more complete the information, the better. This will be related to your military training scores. After a pause, Instructor Feng glanced at everyone and reminded with a smile. Of course, there is one thing I need to remind all students individually. As a scout, there are 2 most important things. First, don't expose yourself. Second, bring the information back alive. After speaking, Instructor Feng waved his hand. Okay, let's get started. You have 1 day to complete the task. Students who have not returned before 5 o'clock in the afternoon will be deemed to have failed the task. After listening to the task description, many students secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The content of military training doesn't sound difficult. Isn't it basic to detect the enemy's situation? even if they are not professional scouts. When spawning monsters on a daily basis, I would first explore the strength of the monsters and then make plans. Even if the instructor will set up some obstacles in the task, they believe that they can still handle it with their own strength. On the Gobi Desert, the atmosphere was peaceful among the students, who were discussing which direction to go to the monster tribe. Instructor Feng looked at the students chatting and laughing, and couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly. What carefree children, but I still like to see them cry, haha. Chu Jia's team didn't discuss anything with the people around them. They just picked a direction and quickly left the base camp. In Chu Jia's opinion, the monster tribes in the 8 directions should all be the same. There is absolutely no point in discussing where to go. On the contrary, act quickly and you may get more points. After all, their military training mission this time was obviously to act as a scout. When detecting the enemy's situation, the timeliness of information is very important. Brother Jia, what do you think of this mission? Dola swept away the haze caused by push-ups and followed Chu Jia closely. Chu Jia shrugged. I don't know what the instructors will do here, but there is no doubt that this task will be difficult. Hearing this, Dola and Lu Xin showed wry smiles at the same time. Dola has been exposed to all kinds of information since he was a child, so it goes without saying that he is sensitive to information. And Lu Xin is also a girl with a delicate mind, and she also keenly discovered the profound meaning of Instructor Feng's words. The deep meaning of the 2 key points that Instructor Feng reminded is actually: first, the monster's detection ability is very strong, so don't expose yourself. If you are exposed, you cannot expose the base camp. Second, monsters are very powerful, so don't think about fighting them when you encounter them. Bringing the complete information back to the base camp is the final task. So, this mission actually tests our long-distance detection capabilities. My mental scanning range is 200 meters. If I take pills, it can be increased to 500 meters. Brother Jia, Sister Lu Xin, I think it should be okay for me to take action. Dola said, patting his chest. Although I know that the task is difficult, this difficulty actually depends on the person. Just like an exam, when ordinary students say it's difficult, they mean they can't even pass. When top academics say it's difficult, they mostly mean they can't get full marks. Dola believed that his strength and financial resources were among the top few among the geniuses of Kunlun Academy. A mission of hell difficulty would be directly downgraded to a difficult level in front of a Kryptonian like him. Of course, there is another important reason. With such a beautiful priest sister by his side, he can't show off, he must perform well. Psychic scanning is indeed a powerful tool for detecting the enemy's situation. At that time, when I determine a safe range, Dola, you can use this technique to scan specific information. Chu Jia nodded thoughtfully. Lu Xin smiled softly. It seems that I can't help with this task, so I can only rely on you. Seeing Chu Jia choose the west direction, some students consciously avoided this direction. They are not willing to compete on the same track as the big guys. However, some people did the opposite and deliberately followed Chu Jia. Their plan was to let Chu Jia clear the way in front while they took the opportunity to drink soup. It's nice to enjoy the shade under the big tree. Hehe, Chu Jia is so awesome. If we follow him, our results will definitely be guaranteed. Maybe we can get enemy information directly from him, which will save us trouble. Hehe, what we are doing is a bit naughty, isn't it a bit inappropriate? What are you thinking? Instructor Feng didn't prohibit this. We call this win-win cooperation. A dozen classmates followed Chu Jia with smiles, talking about their plans without restraint. In their view, this is called wisdom to win, and is a more advanced strategy. But soon, everyone couldn't laugh anymore. The scorching sun scorched the earth, and even the gravel crackled like fried beans. After a while, everyone was so hot that they were thirsty and sweating profusely. Not a single part of my body was dry, and I was so hot that I couldn't walk. Mad, what the hell is this horse riding place? It's so hot. The temperature is 50 degrees, right? I feel like I'm about to be dried out. Does anyone have water? I'll buy it for 100 yuan a bottle. $100 is nothing, I'll buy a bottle of water for $1,000. Okay, stop arguing and leave quickly, Chu Jia and the others are gone. Holy shit, there's no one visible. Aren't they hot? In less than half an hour, the students deeply felt the first difficult challenge in this task, the cruel environment. They never expected that they would have to face such terrifying heat during military training. Students without any preparation can only rely on their iron will. However, here in Chu Jia's team, the style of painting is completely different. Brother Jia, Sister Lu Xin, what are you drinking? Happy water, tea, juice, coffee. With ice or without ice? As a senior foodie, Dola almost has a snack shop with him. Not only that, he even specially built a piece of equipment. It functions like a refrigerator and can continue to cool even if it is not plugged in. In this way, he can drink iced drinks anytime and anywhere. Chu Jia looked at the various brand drinks Dola brought out. Just looking at the packaging, he knew they were expensive. But, don't you, a fat man, know that the more you drink, the thirstier you become? Fat man, let's just ask, why is there no mineral water option? Dola blinked his big eyes and said seriously, yes. With that said, Dola handed over a bunch of ice cubes. Good guy, it turns out that mineral water is used to make ice. After thinking about it, Chu Jia took a bottle of tea, which was at least lighter. Opening the bottle cap, Gululu took a big sip. The cold liquid passed through his mouth and throat, and the refreshing feeling spread throughout his body. Chu Jia couldn't help but exclaimed, it feels so good. Lu Xin took a bottle of iced juice, thank you. Please wait a moment, I have a surprise for you. Lu Xin did not start drinking immediately. Instead, she took out her staff and started shaking it. Cooling technique, shade technique. A cool halo enveloped his whole body, and a small shadow fell over his head. Chu Jia suddenly felt that the heat was gone, and he felt comfortable all over. This. Chu Jia and Dola were stunned at the same time. Unexpectedly, Lu Xin actually learned the cooling technique and shade technique. These two skills, just like their names, have no effect other than creating some shade. Learning this skill has no practical significance except spending time and money, and it can satisfy the petty bourgeoisie. Therefore, almost no one studies. As a delicate pig girl, of course you have to learn two skills to protect yourself from the sun. Lu Xin playfully stuck out her tongue. In fact, she herself did not expect that these two skills could play an irreplaceable role at this time. In this way, she felt a sense of participation in this task. The three of them were like travelers on a trip to the Gobi Desert. Although the conditions are difficult, if you are well prepared, you can feel the wonders of nature in the vast Gobi Desert. Naturally, the students at the back don't have the same conditions as them. Amidst the endless complaints, the distance between Chu Jia and the other two people became wider and wider. At first, a black spot can still be seen. Later, not even the black spots could be seen. Because Chu Jia was a little bored watching, he simply summoned 3 undead shadow wolves. The 3 of them rode towards the front quickly. An hour later, the 3 of them stopped in a dry sea buckthorn bush. Looking forward, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. I saw a small hill densely covered with countless sentry towers and camps. Some green-skinned orcs, holding giant hammers or axes, shuttled back and forth among them. The security is extremely tight. Hold the grass. Is this called a tribe? It's almost like a small town. Dola couldn't help but curse. This tribe occupies almost an area of 1 kilometer in radius. Even if Dola takes drugs, he can't find out everything about the tribe. The only way is to stand on the top of the mountain and release the mental scan. But what is the difference between this and courting death? The orc's sense of smell is quite sensitive. Even if he is invisible, he can still be found for you. Brother Jia, brother, I'm at my wit's end. I can only rely on you this time. Dola said very sincerely. Although he can still think of a way with his trump card, it will undoubtedly be extremely troublesome. From the undead shadow wolf, Dola initially guessed that Chu Jia's profession was a necromancer. If you use the undead to explore, you may be able to complete the task easily. Chu Jia nodded silently. He ordered the 3 shadow wolves to run towards the tribe in 3 directions. The 3 shadow wolves were undead, and their auras were very different from those of the orcs, so Chu Jia had no choice but to give it a try. When Dola and Lu Xin saw the 3 shadow wolves rushing out, They all held their breath and concentrated without blinking. It seems that he has assumed the role of a scout. However, when the shadow wolf was still 500 meters away from the tribe, a loud cry suddenly sounded from the sky. Ouch! Chu Jia and the other three were frightened by the sound, and all trembled. He looked up hurriedly and saw several falcons circling in the sky. Even-handed, just above the shadow wolf. Not good. These falcons are sentinels, Chu Jia whispered. On the way here, they saw a lot of falcons circling in the sky, so they didn't think much about it. Unexpectedly, these orcs actually domesticated some falcons and used them as sentries. Bang! Not long after the falcon howled, the tribe's gate opened with a bang. 3 groups of orcs wielded giant axes and killed the undead shadow wolves. Chu Jia did not immediately recall the undead shadow wolf. First of all, summoning the shadow wolf means exposing one's position. They are 1,500 meters away from the monster tribe, and the falcon has not discovered them yet. Secondly, Chu Jia also wanted to see what the strength of these orcs was. Bang! The giant axe struck down fiercely. With just one blow, the undead shadow wolf was directly smashed into pieces. The corners of Chu Jia's mouth twitched. Retreat! Don't look any further, the cliff is a level 2 or above monster. These instructors really dared to play. Let the newcomers who have changed jobs for less than a month directly face the second-level orcs. Chu Jia now suspected that these instructors did not want everyone to complete the task at all. These orcs are so strong. Lu Xin sighed while retreating back. She knew how strong Chu Jia's undead shadow wolf was. As a result, they were killed by the orcs in one fell swoop. This strength is probably comparable to that level 110 shadow demon bear. After retreating 3,000 meters away, Chu Jia and the other 2 finally stopped and hid in a poplar forest, looking warily into the distance. The falcon is still soaring in the sky, seemingly looking for potential enemies. After the group of orcs easily killed the undead shadow wolf, they also searched the surrounding area for a while. After confirming that there were no other enemies, he carried the giant axe and returned to the tribe. Abnormal. So perverted. Dola grabbed a handful of potato chips, stuffed them into his mouth, and chewed them with gritted teeth. It doesn't matter if the tribe is so big, the monsters are still so strong. The most important thing is that they actually have eyes in the sky. Holy shit, I can't think of any way to accomplish this stupid task. Even though he was the young master of the Dou family, he was completely off guard. Lu Xin's mood was pretty good. After all, as a pastor, she was the one who provided the bottom line. At this moment, her beautiful eyes were looking at Chu Jia expectantly. Just like Dola, Lu Xin had no good solution when faced with such a difficult challenge. However, she believed that Chu Jia had it. At the very least, you can attack them in groups just like you did when you faced the shadow demon bear. Then the orcs were transformed into undead, bit by bit eroding the tribe's sphere of influence. However, there are some loopholes in this plan. There are no high-level job changers here to block the main force of monsters for them. There are falcons patrolling the sky, and they may have to face several or even a dozen orcs at once. Secondly, the tribe is so large, even Chu Jia can really transform the undead one by one. I'm afraid time doesn't allow them to do this. Going back and forth, the time spent on the journey takes 2 hours. They now only have about 6 hours to complete the investigation. Of course, this is just Lu Xin's own idea. She believed that Chu Jia must have other trump cards. After all, how could a man who could chat and laugh happily with 2 rank 4 bosses only have this little strength? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.